No, it's just another hour, I guess. What it out with a podcast. Where is it? Where is it? Yes. Yeah, this one. What it out with this one? Everything else. So yeah, because I have some time on that. I did it while still eating something. Just about a couple of minutes ago. Purchase 6 price. Expose corporate green greed. So it's like $100, $20. Would be fun if it was $200. Well, some figure out. Yep, I'm still playing the Outer one. It's going, but one hour and a half. I know this one was just pure yapping. I'm about to actually start it. And it's not the one. This one. Yep. Nothing. Did something soon enough. Yeah. Yeah, I just got a little exhausted from just walking in, pressing next. Let's see. So what after this, just more of that, I guess, but plus gameplay, actual gameplay. Oh. Yep. Fair enough. I normally can take some heat, as long as it's not unhealthy. The moment it becomes unhealthy, just nah. I gotta turn this shit on. Oh fuck, where's that please? Oh, okay, it's from the... Yeah, okay, fair enough. The playlist thing is just sometimes... When I actually plays every time I got a list, it actually plays, but I gotta remember to keep it on mute. Well... No. Forgotten Island. I don't know if it's the first one. Maybe I know it from a different name. I don't know. Region, never heard of it. What's this?
What is up, everybody? This is this is Alex from IG's.
Holy shit! This is the one I watched just a few days ago. It was so terrible. It was so fucking terrible. It was
And the most unhinged cursed film has been released by none other than Uwe Boll. Got some history with that guy, and it's impossible to ignore. He comes back, came out cannibal retirement, and by the looks of this film, it was going on a killing spree of some sort. Its original title was literally The Dark Knight, which they obviously couldn't keep. This film was banned in Germany, so I'm gonna check this out and review it. Let's see just how unhinged this is. All behavior can be traced back to instincts when justice is denied. Instincts turn to vengeance.
shit.
Oh my god. So apparently this is like a culture war movie in some spaces. Europe,
it
right,
is.
Was this actually shot in Germany? Did they make this in like a weekend? That's the vibe again. Let me guess, a nasty, naughty immigrant's gonna kill somebody. Yeah, no, I can't show any of this, but yeah, she got stabbed. Fuck you for making this. What an opportunistic prick. This is the kind of movie Elon Musk would like, and it's not a compliment. This is like made for Tommy Robinson fans, and to just piss you off, and it's working, it's pissing you off.
14-year-olds rejoice. It's so self-indulgent. It's so fucking bad.
Oh my god.
I watched it because I was just bored. I wanted to pirate some movies. I didn't know what.
Fucking cringe.
And I thought this shit.
Human flesh in my tummy. Fuck you. Fuck everyone who's about this. Stop it. Stop. I'm serious now. Stop doing that. I said stop. Stop it, please. This is trolling me. This is rage bait. And yeah, I know how refreshing and different Fleabag Bells makes a rage bait. Stop.
We need more guys like this in Canada, okay?
So bullshit like this is able to be released and get out there. But the Sam Altman biopic, directed by the incredible director Luca Guadagnino, is struggling to find a distributor because all of these distributors are pro AI.
This is where I pirate stuff.
I hate the fucking world. He's feeling hungry.
We do have ramifications on our
Our actions. or I'll eat you.
I was just curious to see something to
Even more
watch.
unhinged than I thought it was going to be.
I had to find this
He's like a magnet of
garbage.
washed up celebrities that need money.
It was somewhere
So
here.
the solution is just go around killing people. Fucking hell.
I love this guy. We need someone
All of these social media posts are so cringe.
I don't have residency here. If the DMA you're talking about the
So you're an immigrant. You fucking asshole. What is with the turtleneck thing? Like Peter Fife and Kevin Spacey? Is that just what cancelled celebrities do? You whip out the turtlenecks. This guy was the Lone Ranger, man. He's the freaking Lone
This
Ranger.
one.
It looks like it was
It's
shot on
right
like a
there.
phone or like a GoPro or something. We're not talking 28 years later.
But just what
This
the
shit is
fuck
cheap.
is
No,
this
everyone wanted to be the
bad-
Punisher.
Wait,
Everybody got
4.9.
society. Everyone decided they were the Punisher.
Where that's what each member said it's cold and lonely at the top mountain of wisdom. I can help you take that control back.
How?
So
By becoming the Lord
fresh.
yourself. This one's going to do really well in digital, isn't it? This is like made for Americans who bought into the propaganda that Europe is this dangerous hellhole and you can't even walk down the street without being attacked. It's just not true. It's complete fucking bullshit. Trying to enrage you and distract you. Oh, it's shot in Croatia. This is insane. Like I can't show any of this. It's a sex
Croatia
scene
and
with, like, sex worker
Germany.
that's gone. And he's like got his hands around her throat.
So
This is
that-
fucking insane. So amateur.
And if migrants are contributing more to societal costs than economic
Fucking
gains.
hell. This whole film can just be rebutted with that political cartoon with the cookies. Hey mate, that foreigner wants your cookie. They have all the cookies.
I will be forced to kill you all. This is your last warning to leave.
based.
There's 3,500 units in the city.
Ouch.
Within 50 million
Holy shit, I got
People
blurred
are
this
suffering
shit.
right now are landlords. That's true.
That doesn't work.
I,
You can do that.
I used the
They will
website with
When I was young, you just shipped me off to boarding school.
Always goes back
ad
and look at that
blocker,
usual both.
so I never seen this before.
So he literally is an illegal immigrant. So what are you saying? That he's one of the good
Oh,
ones?
yeah.
Like when you're an illegal immigrant and you come and become the Punisher, then it's all
It
great.
stinks.
Fuck this film. I'm literally an immigrant in the UK, but I guess I'm one of the good ones. Oh yeah, I forgot about the timeshare thing. He's like caught selling timeshares in the Cayman Islands.
I just have one
Would
question.
you like a timeshare? Using awful crimes committed by individuals to lump a whole group of people into one monolith. It's the Tommy Robinson playbook. You don't do that with anything else. It just gets people mad. So the narrative six. The peer review
Oh.
research says the opposite of this grand narrative that billionaires are tricking people into believing. But I guess so anything that comes out of university is a lie or woke or whatever. Using data from 55 countries over 3 decades, the study first shows no correlation between high immigration rates and increased crime levels. Homicide rates, for instance, increased by 1/3 globally from 1990 to 2019, even as the share of immigrants in the population grew by 2/3. So while the global immigrant population grew by 2/3 between 1990 and 2019, homicide rates actually decreased by 1/3. Globally, the demographic group most statistically likely to commit crimes regardless of race or country of origin is young, low-income males, because the migrant and refugee population is disproportionately made up of young males. Their numbers in crime logs appear higher. You might think I'm being like preachy, but this is a preachy ass fucking movie. There needs to be more people with a counter narrative to this horseshit. It's ruining the planet. The media wants you frightened. They want you scared of your neighbors. It helps them. It gets clicks. I guess it sells newspapers, but you don't read newspapers saying, you get it. Fuck Uwe Boll for making this bullshit.
They didn't know how to fit into society.
So they're using like a real case to like make this argument in the film. And Uwe Boll's nuanced style of writing is really dealing with it in a elegant
Very
way.
isolated
I
cases.
think it's trying to do like an American Psycho taxi driver kind of thing. That's a SpongeBob style joke. So he kidnapped a judge.
I'm just saying.
Cultural, yes. Cultural, hooray.
I'm just saying.
Oh, they're not white. They're in danger.
I wouldn't.
This. Money. Oh, damn, there's some bad movies coming up
I
too.
better
Some
not say,
legendary
but
pieces of shit.
whatever.
5, 4, 3, 2.
So when you look at the user reviews on IMDb, 7 out of 10 more than just a movie. 7 out of 10 relevant and dangerously prescient.
Yep.
Uwe Boll in his racist, cannibal, culture war movie.
This is unfriendly takeover of the Islam's
It feels like,
blind
I
side
don't know,
left.
it's so cheap.
I mean, it's not even ironically funny or entertaining in a morbid way. It's just fucking boring. So, oh, look how edgy you're being. Meme. Like, God, just how does he get people to agree to this? Like, the paycheck can't be that good. This sounds like it's that. Oh my God, dude. Fuck you, he's such a fucking asshole, such a troll. Fuck, that was awful. God, it's some doomery feelings after watching that shit. Man, horribly made from every feasible, measurable angle. The fact that, oh my God, just saying some of these names. God damn it, dude, this is insane. This is, I don't know. Obviously, don't listen to this fucking film. You don't have to listen to me. Just don't believe every single thing you see on Twitter owned by the richest man in the world. The agitators want you scared, they make money off it. This isn't a funny lol. Oh, look, it's based on a video game. He's just fanning the flames for attention, I guess, and I'm sure he'll make plenty of money from the morons that have bought into the culture war narrative that is more popular than ever.
So garbage.
Team is just completely out of control. Wow, it's like Citizen Kane for 2026. This is obviously an easy half-star. How do you review this? Fuck you.
Oh yeah, it's oh man, sucks. I've been watching a bunch of bad movies. I see some real bad, like I don't know, something like not even a 4 out of 10, but just barely a 4 out of 10. Which is what the fuck. I'm just so curious to see it. I have to watch it, and I really have to watch just because of morbid curiosity. And yeah, oh man, it sucks. The website kinda sucks if you don't use an ad blocker. I've never seen that ad before. Any ad, for that matter. Oh,
How can we deal with people around us living in such opposite realities? So I think the most important thing is to listen. Understand that you could be the one who is brainwashed. The main reason the world is seeing so much conflict is not because those people are getting propaganda and misinformation and we're getting the good information. That is not, even if that's true, I'm a doctor. I don't believe in some of the hell claims that, I made a video about how Tylenol doesn't cause autism. And what bothered me about Tylenol not causing autism is that when we say Tylenol causes autism, we're actually ignoring what we know causes autism, right? So things like advanced maternal age increase the risk of autism quite a bit. But the basic issue is you knowing that you're right. I'm sure I'm right. That is the sin that both sides are making. And I'm not trying to say everyone's the same and there's false equivalency. What I'm saying is that there's a shared cognitive perspective, which is I'm right, they're wrong. They're brainwashed, I'm in the right. So if you want to fix this, I mean, the first thing you have to do is listen. You have to accept that maybe you could be wrong. You have to accept that. I'm saying you have a brain that is prone to cognitive bias. You have a brain that is prone to emotional thinking, just like everybody else on the planet. And what's really disappeared is humility. That's what's gone out the window.
no, we gotta go if it's for vigilante mode. I'm gonna call my relative who works for ICE to just go check the restaurant and that I've just been. I don't like how they look. I gotta go for vigilante mode, you don't understand. Oh man, god damn it. Yeah. Off goes my desire to find a job. Just impossible, just whatever. I'm just gonna take the privilege to just stay live like a neat at home until things normalize. Either that or I get just dissolve the legal papers already. Sooner rather than later, if ever. But yeah. Anyway, some people love being cultist. Oh, this one I just already heard. Oh well.
Games novos e nostálgicos são da loja Nova Era. Link na descrição. Beleza, eu sou o Beleza e finalmente temos o preço de GTA 6. Uma das maiores dúvidas que a gente teve nos últimos meses. Quando que eles iriam cobrar o jogo mais aguardado de todos os tempos, no projeto mais ambicioso da história dos videogames? Estão falando aí que o orçamento total do jogo já passou de $1 bilhão. E nessa geração, principalmente, a gente viu os preços dos jogos galopando para cima. Primeiro com os jogos AAA do PlayStation 5 e Xbox Series, passando da marca, do padrão de $60 para $70. E depois veio o Switch 2 colocando jogos em $80. A própria Nintendo justificou esse preço falando que eles achavam justo cobrar mais caro por jogos que os jogadores iriam aproveitar mais, iriam jogar por mais tempo e também que tivessem um trabalho maior de desenvolvimento. Então, se o Mario Kart World, aquele Mario Kart World lá, tava $80, quanto que eles iriam cobrar no GTA 6? A nota padrão era $100. Inclusive, uma coisa bizarra que aconteceu era que algumas pessoas pareciam que estavam torcendo para que o jogo custasse $100 ou mais caro, porque isso daí iria engrandecer ele de alguma forma. Vocês estão doidos, gente, isso. Ai. Então, realmente tinha gente querendo que o jogo custasse pra casa de $100. Só que antes do anúncio oficial, já tava aparecendo alguns rumores e tal, e alguns dias atrás apareceu um vazamento da FNAC de Portugal, listando o jogo com $120. Tá, espalhou a internet inteira, o pessoal falando já como se tivesse confirmado o preço de $120 para o GTA 6, gente comemorando, gente xingando, gente chorando, e aí foi o pessoal da loja dando risada lá, falando, seus tolos, seus otários. Daí era só um placeholder, aliás, que a gente colocou aí, nem nada a ver com o preço não. E hoje, um dia antes de começar a pré-venda do jogo, a Rockstar finalmente sanou as nossas dúvidas. Quanto vai custar o GTA 6? $80. $80 na versão base e $100 na versão premium. Somente 2 outros jogos custam $80 hoje, pelo menos que eu achei ali. O Mario Kart World, né, que a gente já falou em jogo de lançamento do Nintendo Switch 2, e o Fire Emblem Fortune Swift, que nem saiu ainda, né, mas eles já listaram aqui como $80 na versão física, tá? Na versão digital vai ser 70 mesmo. Então, alguns jogos de Switch cobram $10 mais caro pra fazer a versão física. De qualquer forma, dá pra considerar aí também a versão base do jogo é $80. Somente esses dois aí que estão com o preço do GTA 6. Aí eu vi gente comentando, mas o Mario Kart World Fire Emblem vem os jogos completos lá, não vem o jogo acabado que nem o GTA 6, que pra você ter ele completo, você precisa pagar $100 pra pegar a versão premium. E sim, tem gente tentando justificar o mesmo preço do Mario Kart World pro GTA 6, tá? Isso é outra coisa. Aqui, o que vem nessa versão premium? A Rockstar colocou, né, uma atualização na página deles, falando, né, o que vai vir basicamente, então, aqui, na pré-venda, quem comprar antes vai pegar esse pacote Vintage Vice City. Tem várias fotos aqui no site deles mostrando, né, fotos muito bem tiradas, mostrando as roupas que vai vir. Então, esses são da pré-venda. Todo mundo comprar antes vai receber essa roupinha muito louca aí, né, dos dois protagonistas, o Jason e a Lucia, estilo anos 80, e mais algumas arminhas, tá bom? No pacote premium vai vir, no Ultimate, né, a mesma coisa. Vai vir um pouco mais. Então também vai vir uma roupinha aí bem da hora, gostei bastante do outfit. E carros, também vão vir carros e várias armas. Mas skin, tá? Eles falam aqui, tem um jogo com muita arma, acho que vai ser mais skin, não vai ser nada exclusivo pra essa versão. Se eles quiserem um álbum de fotografias bem bacana pra exibir bem o que vai chegar aí. A outra roupa falando de sexadas, estilos especiais pra Jason, estilos de barba para Jason e maquiagem de para a Lucia. Vai ter designer Will, vai ter designer Will no GTA 6 aqui, chique. Maluco, saca legal, só barba lá. Essa eu quero ver. Então, vai poder fazer tudo, vai ter tudo isso aí no pacote Ultimate. Então, vai ter cosmética, beleza? Provavelmente vai ter o spec test, né? Alguns carros maneiros que você vai poder pegar antes deles, normalmente vocês no jogo pra fazer roupa. Mas tá coisinha. Né? Cosmética, $20 a mais, né? Os
This is looking nice. Is everything it's been it's probably worth of that, but still. I hate seeing this number. God damn it. Mario Kart World is an early access game in disguise. Pretending to be a full game. It sucks.
Martin ou features dele aqui, eles fizeram uma postagem então falando que eles tiveram parceria nossa com o desenvolvimento do jogo para uma experiência mais imersiva. No PlayStation 5, o que seria essa experiência imersiva? Praticamente suporte total ao DualSense, que seriam ativos atraves, a vibração do controle em vários pontos diferentes, intensidades e estilos também. E o microfone do controle também vai ser usado no jogo para dar uma diferenciada na experiência. Além disso, eles vão fazer uso do MP3D, que é o sistema de áudio do PlayStation 5, e consegue fazer uma distribuição do áudio diferenciada para a gente ter uma imersão melhor no jogo. Basicamente, o PlayStation 5 tenta simular um sistema de áudio 3D sem você ter o áudio 3D, só com o console mesmo. Então, essas aí que vão ser as principais coisas que vai ter no PlayStation 5. Também falando aqui que vai ter um load mais da hora por causa do USB, Ultra Speed deles, como falou o Marcel lá do Miquel, né? O USB feito na sala de raiva. Isso aqui é todo videogame. Então, isso, várias coisas que, assim, também cosméticas, também vai ter no PlayStation 5, vai ter algumas coisas mais do que na versão de Xbox, da Sony, ok? Uma coisa aí que tá bem clara, né? Não especificaram exatamente, mas já tá bem claro. O que eu tô falando é que o jogo ele vai vir sem o modo online, tá? E isso é tipo dos jogos da Rockstar, né? Os grandes jogos deles, que normalmente eles lançam primeiro só a campanha e alguns meses depois aí eles lançam a parte online dele. Então, pra quem já acompanha a produtora, não é exatamente uma novidade, tá? Quem tá no online lá do GTA 5 ainda continua mais tempo, e o GTA 6 vai demorar, vai só curtir a campanha, vai fazer lá o sandbox, fazer tudo que deve fazer, achar todos os easter eggs e tudo mais. Aí mais tarde chega o modo campanha. Tá? Uma decepção fortíssima desse anúncio aí, em questão a mídia física. Aqui não existiu uma mídia física de verdade, vai ser a digital, que a gente vai comprar direto lá na loja do PlayStation, Xbox, e a versão caixinha, não vai vir disco, só vai vir o código pra você pegar o jogo lá na loja e baixar, beleza? Sem disco pro GTA 6. Eu vi uma fonte falando que eles estavam fazendo isso pra que não vaze spoilers do jogo, que também é uma balela do caramba, né? Eu não vi a Rockstar falando isso, mas eu não desculpa essa curja, porque tudo é jogo, lança com mídia física e alguns dá spoiler, outros não, né? Geralmente os jogos dão spoiler por causa das próprias bandas jornalistas. Um mês, 2 semanas, 3 semanas antes do lançamento, sempre tem um orelhudo lá que joga e vai espalhar a informação do jogo pra internet. Não é por causa da mídia física, tipo, alguns dias antes nas lojas. O problema mesmo, imagino que seja a quantidade de discos que iria precisar pra colocar o jogo todo em mídia física, né? Lembrando que Red Dead Redemption 2 já eram 2 discos, saiu o Final Fantasy Rebirth aí, com 2 discos também, né? Para o PlayStation 5 e o Xbox Series, agora saiu para o Switch 2, né? A versão em disco eram 2 e a instalação do jogo dava 150 GB. Quantos gigas vai ter do GTA 6? 200 por aí, passado 3 discos, tranquilo. O negócio é 20, uma bosta de seriado, né? Você abre a caixinha cheia de disco dentro. Mas eu queria mídia física do GTA 6 aí, igual, né? Eu falaram que ia ser sorte dentro da caixinha. Broxou aqui, viu? Sério. Mas enfim, agora temos o preço, vai começar a pré-venda dele aí, e não tá imaginando que eles fossem soltar um trailer para a pré-venda, tá? Mas eles não falaram nada do trailer e junto aí com o preço, eles também colocaram 67 imagens, né? Principalmente no jogo, no site deles, algumas que eu mostrei aí, né? Então não sei se vai ter trailer novo não, tá? É o lançamento. Mas eles estão fazendo o bolão para ver quando que o GTA 6 vai lançar a pré-venda. O que falaram, a gente sabe que agora é do Cyberpunk 2077, que vai ter 8 milhões de cópias vendidas na pré-venda. Só que agora é desse pouco tempo o jogo foi adiado, né? Fala sério. E o GTA vai abrir agora, vai até novembro, 19 de novembro, certo? E vai ter um período muito mais curto. Enquanto tempo ele vai assim, ele vai ter mas enquanto tempo ele vai ter esse vídeo. Eu tô imaginando que tanto a loja digital da Sony quanto do Xbox amanhã do pré-venda vão cair lá no lançamento do Silksong, só que Silksong não tem pré-venda, vai colocar lá comprar e deu outro pra loja, né? E
Now the only way to pirate the game now is just steal money, quite literally. It's the only way.
O GTA 6 tem um grande lançamento e tudo a gente vai ver aí o maior lançamento da história dos videogames, né? E vai demorar bastante, vai ser difícil outro jogo, vai ter hype assim quanto o GTA 6. Seja falando que vai ser anunciado, né? Vai dar esse hype todo aí também, viu? Vamos ver. Deixa eu ver nós falando o que
It's not actual piracy, but it's the closest you can get. There's still $100 a month. And it's still $100. Then there it is, the way to pirate it. 'Cause yeah. Fix this.
Spider-Man's got some serious moves.
There was nothing there, whatever. Nope.
So the company Klarna, they replaced 700 customer service workers with AI, and they had to hire those individuals to break that because they realized AI is more expensive than real people, and employee work was lackluster, we'll say. A third of companies that eliminated roles because of AI have already rehired for those exact positions. 2/3 of employers who made AI-driven cuts say that they regretted it, and in some cases, the rehiring costs of this process were way more than the money saved from laying people off. And Gartner actually projects that half of the companies that cut customer service staff for AI will restaff those same roles by 2027, within 3 years of the time where they made the original cuts. So the roles that are coming back the fastest are mid-level managers, customer service, and quality assurance, and the jobs that require judgment, institutional knowledge, and someone that a client can actually trust, aka a human being. AI performs well on high-volume, repetitive, predictable tasks, but the moment a situation gets a little bit messy or it's irregular or emotionally complex, it needs a human in the loop. And if you were laid off in the last 2 years and told it was because of an AI efficiency, that story is getting revised right now in front of our eyes. It's very quiet, and inside those same organizations that let you go, they're being faced with the reality of what's actually happening. So I want you all to know that the leverage you have, your knowledge, all of that is real, and you need to hold on to that. And the companies that move really fast are now paying premiums to get those people back. So this is commonly being talked about as a boomerang effect or an AI boomerang. It's very real, it's been documented. There's a ton of articles and research out there that's happening right in front of us in real time to give the quick and dirty version of this. The roles that are returning fastest require judgment, they require institutional knowledge, and human-to-human trust. And those were never things that could be replaced by AI in the first place. We knew this, and they've been highly undervalued to start with. So if you're job searching right now, I feel it's important to take a moment and take stock of what you know, your skills, stay relevant, but don't cave just because AI is imminent.
I'm not even mad because this is something you could have predicted was easily going to happen a couple of years ago. This is the evolution of the egregious monetization of Overwatch. Now, I want to say this at the top of the video. You guys know that I've covered Overwatch for years, and obviously I've been focused on monetization for a while. And whenever there's a problem, generally rear my ugly head and I'll say, hey, I don't agree with this or what we're doing here. Even way back to the launch of Overwatch 2, when they went free to play, the way they monetized the game, the way they tried to buy heroes behind paywalls, all of it was egregious. All of it was designed to target vulnerable players and extract the most amount of revenue out of them they can by essentially forcing them to take part in transactions. I think it's extremely naive if you say things like this. Hey, they need to sell skins from the game. They do, but the path they've gone down. Again, this is something I've covered in tons and tons of videos over the years. They have designed the game to monetize certain heroes in certain ways, and so they endlessly keep monetizing them in the same way. Again, you see this with Kiriko video I think a while back where I said, why is it always her? Right? And we went in detail on that. Mercy, Juno, the list just goes on and on. It's beyond that. It's more to do with the style of the skins and the way those skins price. They must be burning out of the recurring revenue they can extract from them. So what they're doing is the tried and tested plan of let's increase the prices and pretend we're offering more, but actually we are offering less now. I also want to say that I firmly believe, we can't be naive to the scale of Blizzard and the scale of a game like Overwatch.
Oh shit,
and you've got these companies, it's often referred to as Team 4 within Blizzard, and they make it. I can't imagine, I'm not going to put words in developers' mouths here, but any self-respecting developer looks at the prices of their cosmetics in the game, go, fine, especially these new Ultra skins. I just can't imagine that for 1 second. Maybe if you're like a cosmetic pipeline developer, then yeah. The other thing to consider here is they have pumped a lot of content in the game. You've got the whole like relaunch of Overwatch, loads of new lore content, 10 new heroes coming out within a year. All of this stuff needs to be paid for. How do you pay for it if you are a predatory monetized game and you have a department of people? It is a bit of a revolving door. This department, for what I understand of Blizzard, but it's basically a department that's been headed by basically the same people for a long time who just aggressively target and monetize players in ways they know will essentially force them to buy stuff. So with that being said, let's take a look at this. It's crazy. I want to show you guys this first. This is Doja Cat, a pop star, I believe, right? And she's like, yeah, awesome. Like, this looks great. Give me, right? I want the skins, fantastic. This is the only official response I've seen from Blizzard so far about skins, and it's the Doja Cat showing off the Sierra skin. And it's like, oh yeah, great, awesome. I think that kind of sums up where they are. I don't think it's going to be very long until there's a tweet put out by Aaron Keller. This is the usual damage limitation tactic. We've missed the mark. We hear what you guys are saying. We're going to maybe reduce the price. I don't know. But let me just show you what we're actually talking about here. This is what we're talking about. Now, these are a new tier of skins. If you're not familiar with Overwatch, you've got like the various tiers of skins, and they should increase in quality and get more expensive as time goes on. With mythic skins being the ultimate skin expression, although mythic skins are a little bit weird because you can play games to earn the mythic prisms to then unlock different, unlock the mythic skins, some of the customization. But you've got to remember that notably recently, they introduced mythic aspects, which lets you change the color of the skins and stuff. You need more prisms for that. You only get certain amount of prisms when you buy the premium battle pass, and then as you unlock it, so ultimately you need to buy more, and it gets really expensive, and etc. Right? But then they've got legendary skins, which are the skins below that. Now that's no longer the case. These two skins are the first test bet for ultra skins. Now again, you can see Kiriko is just slap bang in the middle of this. It will always be Kiriko or Juno, one of those heroes that would start. You see what Overwatch Cavalry's point here. So purchasing an individual ultra hero skin will cost 3,500 Overwatch coins. Again, if you're not familiar with that, that's $35 of currency. Now there will be a little discount if you buy $50 worth or $100 worth, so it's a little bit cheaper. But for all intents and purposes, it's $35 one of these skins. The full bundle, for Kiriko and Sierra will cost 4,500. Okay. However, the mega bundle, which includes all of the other Nyan Cat skins, yeah, because I'm not sure they're all ultra quality though, but these two are, is 9,900. That's $100. Excuse me. Now the problem with this, there's really no point being around bush with it. Overwatch is again, it's increasingly looking towards the whales to fund itself. Now they know they've got statistics, they've got purchasing data, they've got everything. They know what sells. And again, we can see when you look at the characters that get the most skins, those characters are selling the most, so they're putting more of their design resources into those heroes. Skins for them, right? This is where you start getting into the fight. Over years, Overwatch should be a game for a game's sake, and then monetize the content in a way that appeals to play. Whether that's through expansion packs, whether that's through, it can be through cosmetics, but cosmetics that makes sense, not insanely expensive. That's another problem with Overwatch. It's a first-person game. Predominantly, they did release the stadium game mode about a year ago, I think now, like a year and a half ago, where it's third-person. You can have third-person camera on to show you the rest of the skins. Overwatch is not sure compared to games like Marvel. Obviously, show you the whole character, so you feel like Overwatch, right? It's not massively cheaper, but their top tier skins are not essentially expensive as the Overwatch ones, right? And they do certain things that are fairly customer friendly, let's say. But Overwatch they don't. Blizzard is very much like keep increasing the prices, slightly increase what the skins do. Now these skins are minimal on particle effects. They're minimal on sort of what you would guess fastest like flourishes on the skins. Kiriko herself has got a lot of different skins in the game where they have got like all crazy like particle effects on them. You know, the petals falling off from the skin. She's got that catted skin where it is. In this skin, it is do not move. And this I think it has a kill effect. So if you kill someone, you get like a kill effect. And that's basically it's got a bit of visual effects. And it's essentially a legendary skin, and they're charging $35 for the skin. So it's way more expensive than a standard skin. So this is obviously going to be their plan going forward. Now all that being said, I could sit here and I could just drag on them, right? I could load up the Overwatch line and we could just go through all the stuff and just nitpick all of it and be like what they're doing inconsistent. They've got a terrible thing where they say I believe they're doing it for this 9,900 bundle because they're actually saying 20,000 if you buy them all individually. All give you 50% off, spend 100, 70, 200, 100. Anyway, don't quote me on that. What I'm trying to say is that kind of practice goes on all the time within this game where the price is the price, but then they try to make you believe actually no, it was double, or 20% off, or 35% off, whatever it actually is. But with that being said, the problem is Overwatch has to pay for the content it produces. Overwatch is a free-to-play game, so there's a certain, and it's a live service game, right? Now the thing with live service game, you crack that code, you get a game, and let's be just real, Overwatch has cracked that code. This game that is sustainable, it looks like it's from the outside, live service game. Now to keep that running, you need to keep producing content. And unfortunately, yes, you do get new heroes, yes, you do get new maps, sometimes you get new game mode, but they need to pay for that. And the way this game pays for it, because of all of the data they've got over years, all of their initial Overwatch monetization strategies, is increasingly increasing the price of the skins. So heroes can now actually see what we're going to get next, like a super tier. Is that going to be a mega tier or something?
I'm just there for the game itself. Skin does cash costs. They don't deserve the cash they have. They really don't.
I'm going to be very surprised if we go into next week and there's nothing said about it because you cannot let Overwatch get away with with it. Can't. They need to sort out their monetization. And again, like, I think back to videos I've made over the years, and I said like, one of the issues I've got is this will burn out. And where? Well, like, what happens then? Once you burn out of these heroes, and you can no longer monetize them in the way you've been monetizing them, or you're increasingly trying to target that smaller and smaller, like huge whale demographic with more and more expensive skins. What are we going to end up with? Skins coming out at hundreds of dollars, and I hope like a certain number of people buy because that's going to be enough to keep that phase of development running or whatever. I also say this as well. I don't know if this is my age, but I do really think there is a heavy amount of fatigue when it comes to Overwatch's shop rotation. Always changing with new skins, new. There's just so much stuff in there. It's like, what are we doing? Like, this needs to come to a head at some point. I'd like to know what you guys think about that. What direction could this end up going in? Like I said, for the short term, I mean, obviously they're looking at these two skins and they're thinking, hey, how much do they make? People buy them. If they do, then I'll keep producing them. And then nothing really changes. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what to tell you. Like, I really don't know how to end this video. I just think like I've been through the whole thing of, it's cliche to say this, but like Oblivion horse armor back in there. Remember that? Like playing Oblivion on 360 thinking, what is this? You can buy horse armor. It's just insane for people at the time to buy content in the game. Obviously, as time went on, all this downloadable cosmetic started to fund play games, games like League of Legends and all that. And like it's become too much. Like we've gone beyond what I'm just gonna say this. I think Overwatch to me it increasingly feels just like a skin store. It's a thing that just wants to sell you skins of characters. And they keep plugging new characters into the game. Some of them are similar styles to old characters just to sell you more of the same skin over and over again if you enjoy that character. And it's not to say Overwatch is a bad game. It's not a phenomenal game. I think what they've done this year is really, really awesome for the game. They breathed new life into it. I didn't think that was possible. Me, like an old head who's been around since the the glory days of the launch, since 2015, back in the early beta phases. Like, I remember, I can see how this game's changed, how it's moved forward. I remember the controversies, blue box and all that. Now I look at it in its current state, and I'm overwhelmed when I open the client. There's so many skins. There's just so much. It's like, what are we doing? Like, where is this going to end? I don't know. Alright, guys, I don't know if you guys in the comments below, but the fact is, these skins are too expensive. The only way Blizzard will listen to you, if you agree with that, is for you not to buy the skins, and in fact for you to avoid their monetization altogether. That will force them to take different action. It will force them to look at different ways to monetize their game. Because I think at the end of the day, we don't know how much money the game's making. We don't know how profitable it is, but we do know they have to pay for the content. We also know that since the Microsoft acquisition, Xbox will almost certainly be putting a lot of pressure on them to generate more and more money. We know Xbox itself is in the shit. They've actually said Blizzard has done quite well for them. So I don't know. Maybe they let them get on their own things, or they've got certain mandates that get put down on top of them from up on high, generate more money. I don't know. But to me, when I see stuff like this, it just makes me think like this is not the game. It's not what it should be about. It really isn't what games should be about. Is it? I don't know. Again, maybe that's just because I'm an old. Alright, guys, thanks for the video. I hope you enjoyed that. And let me know if you comments below. Catch you on the next one.
Oh shit. I don't get the meme. Explain the meme. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm stupid. I'm skipping it, but I'm still listening. Whatever.
So, as you might have heard, a court recently ruled that President Trump illegally renamed the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts into the Trump Kennedy Center, and now he has to change the name back. Trump's people say that they plan to appeal, but legal experts are very skeptical that this will work, and for now, the center has been complying with the judge's order, removing Trump's name from everything they can. The safe bet is that it will never return. However, Trump was so gung-ho about this renaming that a ton of Trump Kennedy Center merchandise has already been produced, and in the days after the court ruling, people in DC were posting on social media with great sneering schadenfreude that the center was now full of unsellable merchandise with the Trump Kennedy name on it. The Kennedy Center was officially renamed on December 18th, 2025, and the court ruling renaming it back was issued on May 29th, 2026. This means that the Trump Kennedy Center only existed for a brief 5-month period, which makes all this merchandise what I'm going to call a good example of liminal objects. Now, liminal spaces have been getting a lot of attention as of late. These are usually understood to be areas of buildings that exist for some sort of fleeting transitional purpose, like a hallway or waiting room. People love photographs of liminal spaces because it tickles your brain in a pleasing way when you're forced to ponder the existence of permanent things that embody life's most temporary moments. With this in mind, I would define a liminal object as some sort of product or consumer good that similarly makes a passing moment permanent. Ideally, a liminal object would be a physical thing that documents or commemorates a period of time that, whether intentionally or not, is brief and transitional, which is to say liminal. Newspapers and magazines would be the most obvious liminal objects. Every day, millions of these things are released to the world, offering a snapshot of the news of the day or week or month, and then promptly thrown out because their depiction of reality is so myopic as to be useless in the long term. If you're watching this video months or years after I filmed it, the stories you see me flipping through here will surely have a somewhat liminal vibe, just because these headlines will feel so awkwardly dated. We intentionally make newspapers and magazines out of cheap materials precisely because we don't intend for anyone to keep them. The idea of hoarding old ones is a common cultural shorthand for horrifying mental illness.
But if newspapers disappear, what will crazy old loons build their dusty, cluttered houses with?
People do, of course, say newspapers and magazines from historically important moments, but at that point, they basically cease to be liminal objects and instead become something of more obvious long-term cultural importance. A newspaper cover that announces Martin Luther King's assassination, the moon landing, is an object whose significance can be appreciated forever just because the events that they embody are not forgettable or trivial, but rather major historical moments whose relevance has never ceased. For a truly liminal sensation, you should check out an old newspaper or magazine that chronicles some period of time that we now understand to have been distinctly transitional in nature. Newspapers from September 1st through September 10th, 2001, for instance, have a very foreboding liminal quality, just because we know that the first 10 days of that month was the story of the world obliviously meandering towards one of this century's darkest moments. Here's another example. I recently got access to the archives of Maclean's, which is this weekly Canadian news magazine that's been running for many decades. Now, there have been times in recent Canadian history where someone has served as Prime Minister of Canada for just a few months, and these Prime Ministers are themselves quite liminal figures, assuming office following the resignation of the previous guy, and then proceeding to be voted out very soon after. And this makes the issues of the magazine that document their brief tenure as Prime Minister quite strange and liminal, just because of the very matter-of-fact way that they report on what Prime Minister Kim Campbell got up to this week. You know, just this very serious, sustained coverage of a person that most Canadians now regard as a deeply unserious, irrelevant, interim figure. But 19 issues of Maclean's nevertheless document the 19 weeks where Kim Campbell was running Canada, 19 permanent physical things, embodying a short transition period most Canadians barely remember, sandwiched between the reigns of two far more important, much longer-serving Prime Ministers. Speaking of Kim Campbell, let me now show you another interesting liminal thing involving her right after. That is a brief word from today's video sponsor, MyHeritage. So this is a plaque commemorating the opening of Vancouver's big central library in the heart of downtown. The ribbon cutting occurred on September 28th, 1993, which happened to be one of the 19 weeks that Kim Campbell was in office. She attended the opening, and the plaque accordingly notes the presence of the Right Honourable Kim Campbell, Prime Minister of Canada. Now, obviously, any plaque commemorating any sort of act by any sitting politician embodies just a brief snapshot of time, since eventually everyone leaves office. But I always found there to be a weird liminal quality to this plaque in particular, just because it makes so physically permanent the name and title of a person who, again, Canadians are so used to thinking of as a purely transitional figure. I made a video last year where I talked about how the Vatican makes a big deal of commemorating the brief periods of time between the death of a pope and the election of a new one. They call it the sede vacante, or time of the empty seat. And the Vatican government actually releases special sede vacante stamps, and these are incredibly cool liminal objects just because they represent a rare example of an institution openly celebrating a liminal period of time for its liminality. Human culture loves to celebrate success, victories, completions, openings, coronations, weddings, anniversaries. What we don't tend to care much about commemorating is temporary moments defined by the absence of something, which is what makes the idea of sede vacante souvenirs so special and unique. Memorabilia from failed election campaigns would be another good example.
Pause for a moment. I'm gonna pause for another 5 to 10 minutes from now.
tend to care much about commemorating is temporary moments defined by the absence of something, which is what makes the idea of Sede Vacante souvenirs so special and unique. Memorabilia from failed election campaigns would be another good example. Over the years, I've collected a lot of campaign brochures, or what the politicians often euphemistically refer to as campaign literature. And when they come from a candidate that ultimately lost, they can prove to be objects that are quite sad in their liminality, just because they embody somebody's short-term dream that never came true. Like here I have a flyer for a woman who ran for mayor of Vancouver quite some time ago, completely forgotten about today, but as the leading opponent of the guy who actually won, this thing is now a strange artifact of her few months of peak relevance. Here we have a thing from Rudy Giuliani's failed 8-month campaign to win the 2008 Republican presidential primary. Do you remember that? This is a great liminal object because it embodies that particular liminal era between Giuliani's fame as America's mayor, the immediate aftermath of 9/11, but before his descent into irrelevance and subsequent rebirth as a Trump flatcatcher. I will end illegal immigration, secure our borders, and identify every non-citizen in our nation. This is a great example of how people have really hallucinated an alternative reality in which no Republican ever talked about immigration until Trump came along. Here we have McCain in 2008 and Hillary in 2016, bumper sticker, classics. And here's one from England, from the Liberal Democrats under Jo Swinson. If we remember her, the Liberal Democrats are winning, it says. Right across the UK, Jo Swinson's Liberal Democrats are winning and gaining momentum. And then it says how they beat Labour and the Conservatives in May's European elections. Truly a fleeting snapshot of a forgotten moment. And yet it lives on forever in my heart. Failed election campaigns can be uniquely pointless human projects just because in the end the failed politician literally has nothing to show for her efforts. Even a poster hyping a movie that ultimately flops is still at least hyping a product that will permanently exist. Merchandise for a failed campaign,
just
by
like
contrast, just
having a
embodies a lost
Marvel's
argument, a
DVD.
brief debate that people will never have again. Merchandise that is produced in the lead up to a big sports championship is kind of a similar
When
story.
the
Like say
Blu-ray.
this football commemorating Super Bowl
And
2002,
never
only
opening.
5,008 apparently, but only $17.99 on eBay. Sports leagues and sporting good companies like to churn out products like these the days or weeks before a big final, branded with the logos of the two teams and the date and place of the match. As this eBay listing shows, once that match is over, interest in owning such a thing immediately plummets. Supporters of the winning team now want merch that explicitly celebrates their victory, while supporters of the losing team obviously don't want to be reminded of their defeat. So these objects quickly become liminal, commemorating a short window of time in which a competitive event ultimately defined by its outcome was briefly defined by the existence of the competition itself. Let us now talk about a more damage control type of manifestation of this phenomenon. Once in a while, in response to some outrage or scandal, the name or logo of a product or brand or some other thing is suddenly judged to be so offensive, it has to be changed right away before anyone has time to come up with a less offensive replacement. We saw a fair bit of this in 2020 in the aftermath of George Floyd, where a bunch of companies abruptly abandoned brand names or logos that had racist undertones, while also stating that they were committed to a more thoughtful and inclusive rebranding process sometime in the future. And the result was often a brief period of time in which a placeholder name or logo had to be used, and thus the production of liminal placeholder products that we can now look back at as embodiments of this transitional era. I visited Washington, D.C. in early 2022, a trip that wound up occurring during the brief period of time between when their NFL team was called the Redskins and the adoption of their current, less racist name, the Commanders. The new name was actually unveiled when I was there. The Redskins name was officially dropped in July of 2020, and for an 18-month period leading up to the formal unveiling of the new name in February of 2022, the team was officially known as just the Washington Football Team. I bought this Washington Football Team sweater at one of their gift shops, and I was sure to wear it in my Washington, D.C. video, just because I thought this was such a wonderfully liminal object commemorating such a distinctly liminal moment. A similar thing happened with Aunt Jemima pancake syrup. In June of 2020, the company vowed to rebrand since the whole Aunt Jemima idea, something that had grown out of an offensive black mammy stereotype. But the company didn't yet have a full rebranding plan, so for a few months they just continued selling their syrup under the name Aunt Jemima, but without the grinning black lady logo. And in February of 2021, they unveiled a permanent new name and logo, the Pearl Milling Company. Here's a photo I found on Reddit of a faceless
strange.
Aunt Jemima bottle, which is a great example of a liminal object, given it was only available to consumers for half a year during a very particular transitionary period defined as much by the logistics of producing and putting out new labels as the politics of the situation itself. I feel like there's probably some pretty good examples of this particular phenomenon happening right now in response to the recent revelations of the sex crimes of Cesar Chavez. Across the US, all sorts of Cesar Chavez monuments and things have been abruptly stripped of his name following the bombshell revelations earlier this year, with plans to choose new and better names often put off to some point in the future. If you live near a formerly Cesar Chavez name thing, and if you live in California, statistically speaking, you probably do. Let me know if any plaques or signs or things have recently changed in a noticeably liminal way. Now, have you ever seen any memes involving these Best Buy stickers before? These little yellow and black things telling people to remember to turn off their computers before the last day of the 20th century in order to avoid the dangers of the dreaded Y2K bug. People are obsessed with these stickers precisely because of their liminality. They were slapped on all computers sold at Best Buy in months leading up to New Year's Eve 1999 during the peak months of the Y2K panic. And even if you grew up long after this particular rollover, chances are still high you might have seen one of these stickers on a computer anyway, because a lot of people were too lazy to bother removing them. This gives these stickers kind of double liminality. Not only were the stickers themselves a permanent object representing a very short-lived social panic, they became even more permanent by virtue of being hard to remove, thus making them an even longer-lasting monument to one of the world's most notoriously fleeting concerns. Now, here's a good example for my European friends. Euro bills and coins were introduced on January 1st, 2002 as a replacement for all the other currencies in the European Union. However, you can't expect people to just make a change like that overnight, so there was a 2-month period in early 2002 where both euros and the old European currencies could be used simultaneously in shops and things before the old currencies officially stopped being accepted on March 1st, 2002. For 2 months, goods sold in the various countries that were part of the EU back then, which was all the biggies, like France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, and Holland, would thus often have price tags printed in both euros and whatever the old thing was. And once again, a good liminal object embodying this transition would be our old friend newspapers and magazines, since those things usually have their prices printed directly on their cover by the publisher. For example, here is a Spanish comic magazine from January of 2002. You can see it has the price listed as both €1 and 74 euro cents, or 290 pesetas, which was apparently the name of the old Spanish currency. But then in March, they have the price listed only in euros. But perhaps an even more overt example would be these little calculators and pocket-sized guides that were briefly used to help Europeans quickly convert prices from their outgoing currency to euros during this brief period of time, and in very particular circumstances where a price might have been posted in euros, but you only had the other kind of currency on hand. Although that said, from what I understand, a lot of these things had as much of a psychological as a practical use. Even after their old currency was phased out, Europeans still often wanted a way to convert euros back into their old money in order to just make the amount easier to conceptualize or to make sure they weren't being scammed or whatever. But I'm sure I'm also missing some of the cultural subtleties and oddities of the 2-month euro transition era. So if any of my European viewers have any particular memories or insights into what this period was like, be sure to fill me in. And for everybody else, I hope that this little concept of mine has stimulated your imagination to the point where you're able to come up with some examples of liminal objects of your own. I think physical objects that permanently commemorate a fleeting era can be really fascinating just because they remind us that even passing moments feel pretty solid when you're actually in. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you next week. And don't forget that you can get your very own MyHeritage DNA testing kit for just $25 plus free shipping using the promo code JJDNA plus a 30-day free trial.
Hello. Today, we're going to unbox the Steam Machine, do a quick overview of the features, and show you how to get started playing games. This is what the box looks like for a 2TB Steam Machine with Steam Controller bundle. If you get a different model, your box will probably come with this stuff inside. The Steam Controller is under $200. These boxes contain 2 extra faceplates that come with the 2TB Steam Machine.
For a
with the standalone handheld
PS5,
models. We'll take a look at those in a minute.
$1,500
And here's the
for
Steam Machine. You can
PS5.
pull it out of the box using the attached handle.
The standalone Steam Machine
That's
model
how
is the same.
happy should be PC
Hold
as
the tab to
well.
unseal it. Then pull the lid back to open. Ta-da! Inside the box is a Steam Machine, an HDMI cable,
Kind of,
and a power
because
cord that matches your
it's
region's power
not
outlets. Let's take a look at Steam Machine.
supposed to
It's about 6
run
inches
on
square, around the size of a
Windows,
tissue box,
but okay.
or these other tissue box sized things. Steam Machine comes with all the ports you need for a living room or desktop setup. On the front, there's 2 USB-A ports, a micro SD slot, an LED strip, an indicator LED, and the power button. On the back, you have DisplayPort, HDMI, power, gigabit Ethernet, a USB-C port, and 2 USB-A ports. Inside Steam Machine, you have dedicated Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antennas designed to avoid interference. In addition, there's a built-in Steam Controller wireless adapter, which lets you pair your Steam Controller directly to your Steam Machine without using the Steam Controller plug. Steam Machine's power supply is also inside the chassis, so no need to hide a power brick when managing your cables. The front faceplate is removable on all Steam Machine models. If you have the 2TB model, it comes with 2 extra faceplates for customization. One is solid walnut, and the other is covered in bright red fabric. We'll be releasing the CAD files and details for these faceplates soon, and we're excited to see what the community creates. Getting started with Steam Machine is as simple as plugging in the power and connecting it to your display with the included HDMI cord. You can also use DisplayPort if you prefer, or even both at the same time. One quick note about Steam Machine placement. Please make sure Steam Machine is not directly on carpet or in an enclosed space. The cooling system brings in air through the bottom vent and out the back,
Oh,
so make sure your Steam Machine has room to
shit.
breathe. Press the power button to turn it on, and you'll see initial setup instructions on your screen.
Oh,
If you've
get
got
out
a
of
Steam
here.
Controller bundle,
Holy
or
shit,
already own a Steam
get
Controller,
out of
plug
here.
your puck into Steam
Get
Machine
out
and
of
turn on your
here.
Steam
Get
Controller.
out of here.
Follow the on-screen prompts to complete any necessary updates. When you're done updating, you'll be prompted to pair directly to the Steam Machine. We think this is a great way to use Steam Machine with Steam Controller, and allows you to do things like turn on the Steam Machine from the controller. Just like the Steam Controller plug, you can pair up to 4 Steam Controllers to Steam Machine's internal adapter. When you pair this way, the Steam Controller plug is no longer used for wireless connectivity, but it's still a great way to charge your Steam Controller. For instance, you can have the puck plugged in on a side table next to your couch for quick pickup and play. You're also welcome to use a different controller or mouse and keyboard. Steam Machine supports every controller Steam does, so bring whatever input you're the most comfortable with. Plug your input of choice into Steam Machine via USB and make your way through the rest of the setup experience. You'll be able to pair your controller directly via Bluetooth later as well. Once you log in, you'll see a familiar UI if you've ever used Big Picture Mode or a Steam Deck. Your whole Steam library will be there. Steam Machine runs SteamOS just like Steam Deck, and you can expect the same easy-to-use, gamepad-first user interface, integrated system updates, and all the quality of life features you know from Steam Deck. You'll also have access to desktop mode, just like any SteamOS device. Managing, purchasing, and launching games is simple with the gamepad-first UI. In addition, Steam Machine has a verified program, similar to Steam Deck, so you'll know at a glance if a game is verified, playable, unsupported, or untested on Steam Machine. With 6 times the horsepower of a Steam Deck, we found that many games that were unsupported or just playable on Steam Deck play great and are verified on Steam Machine. In addition to customizing your faceplate, you can customize your Steam Machine's LED behavior and colors. Or just turn it off. And just like Steam Deck, you can choose your startup movies or change your keyboard styles. You can even have the LED strip show your download progress while installing new games or updates. When you're done playing, just put Steam Machine to sleep from your controller or by pressing the power button. And to learn more about Steam Machine, visit this link.
If ever. Even if it was a cheaper price, it would, I don't know, it would be more than certain it will have the same fate as the Steam controller, just not available until next year. No, this price, maybe there's a hope. There will be enough supply because people still buy it anyway. The people will still be buying. There will be enough people buying, I think. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Well, yeah, I'm gonna pause again. Oh.
Here I am in Taipei again, which means it's time to head to the Tech Mall, where 2 years ago I pretended to be a regular customer and bought a $5,000 PC to give away, and where last year I had 3 shops compete to design the best $12,000 PC. I gave that away too, but this time's different. This time I'm here to work.
Hello.
All right, boss. What can I do for you?
How about you help me to build this thing over here?
Oh, immediately right into a water-cooled system. All right, brilliant. I was going to tell him, don't go easy on me, and I could see that was not ever going to be part of the plan. Oh, there's customers already. I need like a training badge or something.
Yeah, I was looking into a new,
Excuse me, hi. Linus knows he'll be working a full, regular shift at the mall, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., doing everything the shop normally does. Troubleshooting, building, and repairing computers. But what he doesn't know is that one of the customers is himself. I'm secretly placing a rush order that must be done today. Why? Because it wouldn't really be a Tech Mall video if we didn't give away a system, would it? I'll be popping in the video periodically to give you guys updates on how it's going on that end because, well, he has no idea. Bye-bye. So 2 of these, and one of those is 4110 NTD.
TO-140 reverse in white, right?
Oh, white?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, white. In white, yes.
Okay.
Just snap a picture so you know the price tag. Brilliant. Okay.
I really want this one.
You know what? Sorry, I'm new here.
Looking to get a new motherboard or CPU because my build right now, like after I let it sit there and I try to open Windows or try to open Chrome, it'll start becoming really laggy and I can't use it. And I have to restart the PC.
So what I would do before you upgrade anything, maybe I'm a bad employee, is update your BIOS. And then if that doesn't help, then what I would probably do is go in and turn off any power
Won't
supply.
they
If you're
be
not comfortable doing
weirded
that, can we
out
fix
about the
computers? Can we also
camera?
fix computers? Okay.
Even if they don't know
Hey, boss, do you
what
need
Linus
cable
is.
management? I'll bring my PC back here. Okay. Thank you. This is crazy. There's already a lineup for when
Kinda
last time you
awkward.
do the water block. Oh, like maybe a few months ago.
I thought it was about 13 years.
No, it's 13 years since my first day on a new job. Yeah, no, I know how to water cool. Okay, gaming chairs. They're bulky. Never taken apart this card before. Bixby, do they include new thermal pads? Or do I
Drive
need...
away
Yeah,
some
they do. Okay, I'm gonna put all these
customers,
back on here.
just
Okay. Is that what you normally do?
cameras
Yeah,
in
okay.
there.
Oh yeah, no, I know that because I reviewed your system. Yeah, okay. I'll put this on so hopefully people are patient with me.
I got a text that my customer's graphic card is back, so if it's okay that you'd be here yourself about half hour.
What?
It's wrong.
Okay.
It's wrong.
I've been trained for 15 minutes. The stock backplate had a pad for the 12-volt connector, but Bixby didn't include any pads that are the right size to reach there, so I stacked up 3. Better than nothing. However, I don't like that I can see that. Should I answer the phone? Oh, too late. Oh, yeah, the phone was ringing. Okay, I'm done my first job. I put a thermal pad here. It's a little bit ugly, but the stock backplate had a thermal pad there.
It's fine. We'll stand straight so you won't see it.
See, I knew you wouldn't want to see it.
Okay, I can try to put it in the system, I think.
Sure, is this a new build? Yep. Can I get the RAM?
Oh, the most interesting thing.
Sorry, what am I looking at? Dude, bougie RAM is on a whole other level now.
Triple fan on the rim, too.
Yeah, wow. All right, time to assemble my RAM.
So this is my PC.
I'll see if I can figure out the throttling issue, and then if it's not solved, then we'll message you later. Okay, am I doing okay?
Yeah, well, this is my first time to see this RAM, too.
Oh, okay.
A little bit too high, isn't it?
I mean, I guess we'll find out. And then this one is just no post, not working. We will respond to you once we can have a look. Okay. There are many factors of actually working in a tech shop that I have not thought about. How do we keep track of like the priority sequence? Now at this point, I'm trying to put my order in without getting caught, so it can't come from a Canadian number, and ideally it's in Chinese. So we reached out to some local legends. Shout out Caleb for sliding into the DMs. But I'm just praying that our order is not too far back in the queue for us to get service. I think at least that ROG one, I don't think there's anything wrong with it because the 24 pin is out. So why is it not working? I don't know. Maybe because it's not plugged in. Well, we'll see. What can I do for you, sir? Oh, hi. Matt. Oh, hi. What can I do for you? I forget.
Do some cable management.
You want to do cable management?
Is it actively messy in this?
Yeah, you sound tired. Did you run the whole way or?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh, you still have the peel on the back of your motherboard. Did you build this yourself?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen how bad the cable management is yet, man.
Pretty horrible. Make the color look like all the same.
Oh, good. RGB software config.
We got Gigabyte, we got Armor Crate, and even the AIO is different for now, just everywhere.
Oh, good.
So what's the problem with this one?
So I'd say maybe he just doesn't have Expo enabled, and so it's just a little bit slow right now.
It's very slow.
Oh, okay. So he's not making this one up. Expo's enabled too. What? 5600 CL46.
That's way too slow.
That's an Expo profile?
CPU temperature behind, and
Yeah,
30 degrees.
maybe BIOS flash and we go from there. Yep. That is slow ass memory. This is cool. It's like a triple fan thing. It's from Johnspo. Yep. Man, that's awesome. Busy day so far. I've got my GPU water block installed. I've got my motherboard and water cooling installed. I've got my first radiator set up with fans. We ran into a small problem where the rad screws are M3, which is correct, obviously, but they're too short for these fans. And these fans come with screws that are the right length, but they're 632. So the boss said, hey, I can go get other screws, but I'll be gone for half an hour. I was like, no, not again. So I figured out how to get the 632 screws in the M3 holes. Okay. Any screws a self-tapper if you try hard enough.
How does the boss feel about that? You allow that?
Well, it worked.
Hey, boss, I think maybe we will take the fan off.
That's a good idea.
So new BIOS on here. This seems
Oh, the RAM is so slow.
we can see here CPU usage 99%, 4.83 gigahertz, right in line with what we would expect. We're making money. Let's go. You may have noticed that Linus hasn't started building our PC yet, and given it's 3 p.m., we're starting to get nervous. So we asked a Mandarin-speaking fan to go in and tell the shopkeeper about our special order and make sure Linus finishes it in time. But then the guy just didn't come out, so now I'm literally sweating. But eventually he emerged. Our man got it done. Message received. Boss texted about this, so he just sent you an update with the frequencies running over 4 gigahertz now. Honestly, I could not explain to you why it was in that state. It's running as we would expect now. So just simple BIOS update and like it's responsive now. I feel like I'm playing PC Builder Simulator in real life. Enjoy your fixed system. See you later. Okay, 2 for you, 2 for me, right? Okay. No, no. You have more water cooling stuff than I do. There's so many blocks. I think this one's not actually broken. He says no post, but his 24 pin is not connected. I think we found part of your problem right there, sir. It's like on the one hand, it's so high end, but he has like $250 worth of Noctua fans in here, and then like
water blocks.
this and random screws.
I'll try this one.
Okay, we're trying to figure out if we can get this triple in here. It's pretty tight. Oh, dude, we got it right there. We're in. Whoa, that's tight. It works. Unlike Buddy's motherboard over here.
I put a new supply on and it still doesn't work. Maybe the motherboard is dead.
Well, we can send him an update then. At least tell your motherboard's dead. Do you want to deal with ASUS for RMA or do you want to buy a new board? That's the customer's choice. We offer the customer choice here. Okay. That's well, yeah. What's our store called? I don't remember. IKYPC. Yeah, IKYPC. I was trying to come up with something like what's IKYPC stand for. First thing that popped into my mind is like I kill your PC. Probably that's not what it stands for. Right? That's not it.
No, it's not.
This is the customer who asked for cable management help. Honestly, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. He says sometimes the system shuts down when he bumps it. So probably some loose connection in here somewhere. The radiator's supposed to go here. He's got it on the other side. Also, he has 2 different RGB hubs in here.
This looks like you have to tear it all apart.
Bad news, boss. 1 out of 8 screws snapped off in it.
They can change it anymore. So that's okay.
I will be as careful as I can. It worked on the first one. And I got 3 of these.
It has 20 more after this. You can break it all.
You're leaving again?
Yeah, half hour.
Dude, I should have done this in the first place. Doesn't look factory, but like, would you notice?
You would probably wait, no.
Well, the question now is, what's the bigger risk? Trying to do this 3 more times, or trying to drive these not the right thread screws in 3 more times? Trying to drive the screws again is definitely faster, so I think we're gonna do that. Please work. Please do not snap off. Okay, 1 down, 2 to go. Found another problem. I was all excited. I got the screws driven into this stupid thing. Stupid that has to go into this as well. Out comes the radiator. On goes the pump mounting bracket. Do you think he did this on purpose so that I would have such a challenging build on my first day? This is actually like legitimately not easy. So you have a new problem. The screw's not long enough now to go through here. But that's okay. New plan. I'm just gonna put it like here, and we'll make 4 holes.
Okay.
Okay.
We can try it.
Okay.
Screw the hole.
Yeah. All right. We didn't break it. Coming together, right? Yep. There's a plan. Tell me something. Did you do this on purpose? Like save a quite challenging build for me to do today? Or?
Well, it's actually I was doing this week, so
It's definitely a challenging one. In video production, there are sometimes problems that you can't even conceive of. So for example, our PC is being built. But it's being built by the boss. Look, he's even got the RAM in there already, not Linus. And that's a problem. So we found a second spy to go in and clarify what we're actually after. And this is where the plot almost completely blows up. The boss was confused. He kept trying to switch to English, and Linus started to pay attention to what was happening. So I had to think fast.
you can ask him. Oh,
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
I pointed at the gift bag that the guy was holding. I was like, oh, you have a gift? I can accept that. Let's go talk outside.
Okay, we good? No. The boss didn't understand. He thought he was
Oh shit.
We're still alive, but we haven't solved the problem.
Edification.
Now we get it. We got a problem, boss. This backplate is so tall. Maybe we use a Dremel.
oh, maybe we can make the GPU straight.
Oh, you want like a vertical mount? Yeah. Last resort. We write a note for the boss. I gave it to Sean Everly on the biz team to hand to the guy.
Oh, we got it.
Okay. Take a break. Yeah, I ran to the washroom. Then mercifully, like manna from heaven, Linus asked to go to the bathroom. Yes.
Man, if I wasn't using the arrow, I would
Yes.
be
He was on.
taking
Cleared everything up with the
spoilers
boss.
now.
Prices averted. We're good
Pretty
to go.
sure.
Oh, I'm gonna need one that has the actual riser cable so I can keep going. Do we have that?
I ordered a new one, so considering we're waiting that thing.
Okay.
This customer wanted to get his PC about 8 o'clock. Oh, it's an emergency, so.
In 2 hours?
Yeah. Well, I sold it half already.
It's not water cooled, right?
Well, it's AI. So maybe you can help me.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Okay, ready. Realistically, I want to get this done even sooner than the customer is asking because I really need to get back to that other system. I want to finish that system today. I do not want to leave that unfulfilled. What a day. I'm tired, boss, you know? It's a simple assignment. Put in the AIO, put in the GPU. Sorry, I'm not doing pictures today. I'm working. You can snap a picture from out there if you want, though. But the boss has got me building systems. There's no break.
You can. I did say that.
He said it with his eyes. Cable management. Okay.
B+ today.
B+. Oh, B+ today. Okay, GPU mount. Done. Not going anywhere.
That looks okay.
Listen, if you want a good cable management job, you don't ask for a rush order. Right, boss? Yep. Look at him. He's in on the joke. He loves it. Okay, I think we're good. Make sure it works. Probably not a terrible idea. Oh, I got one here. Okay, I'm on it, boss. New CPU is installed. Total RAM 32 gigs. Let's get in the BIOS here. How's the rebuild going on that core guy's system?
Well, I'm still cable managing.
Now maybe I'll grade your cable management. See,
Well, it's not finished yet.
See, there's a storm outside.
Oh my goodness.
By the way, there was one thing I couldn't figure out on this one. Like the screen, is it just like glued in? It's so crooked.
Well, it's sticky here.
Oh, maybe for crying out loud, you just...
Yeah, you just stick it in.
It's definitely, it's better now. Also, I noticed his clipper, his 12-volt 2x6 is broken. Oh, wait, oh, no, I bent it a little. Okay, it's working now. Okay, good. We don't want that to burn up. Not that I kill your PC. Should we take the peels off? It'll look nicer. No! Got the technique, bottom-up technique. No! My lunch is here, but the boss says I have to finish the system.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
He said you finish the system, then you eat. Okay, yes.
I didn't. Really?
What the heck? Did we get trolled on this or what? Okay, I take it back. It's not the worst PC I've ever seen. It looks a lot better now that the cable management doesn't suck. Oh man, I just really wish this wasn't crooked. I mean, the thing is pure shitpost anyway, so it might as well be posted crooked. We ran into a challenge. There's no Windows 10 drivers for the Wi-Fi 7 network card that's on here. We have to put Windows 11 on it. I think we're just gonna have to install fresh. No GPU detected. So maybe the riser is not detected or it's not plugged in properly. I didn't do that. The boss did that. Although it is technically possible that while I was installing the vertical mount that I disrupted it. So it could have been anyone. Probably James. I don't think all the hardline water cooling is happening between now and the end of my shift, which is in 1 hour. But I can at least get it as prepped as possible. Oh, is it up? Hey, let's go. Oh, hello?
Oh, you just have to come back and get my PC.
Oh, yes. So the wiring's all fixed. There's not really much we can do about your RGB software because you went and you bought RGB things from like every different manufacturer.
I went online to see this one look cool.
Yeah.
I just ordered every single one of them. Oh, I see lots of space.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, you put that there. That's your fault.
Oh, this is so much more beautiful.
That's what we do at ICYPC.
Oh, so nice.
Or IKYPC. Also, we could not straighten the screen because you use permanent tape.
No.
You use VHP tape.
Yeah, because there's a standing, but it wouldn't go on there.
Right, so you put VHP on it and put it on.
Straight in there.
Yeah, forever. You see the back is like pretty tidy now too. All the RGB hubs are all tucked down now.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
I'm away outside then. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You didn't want to tech tip?
I never mind tech tips. I like tech tips. Oh no, I don't need a tip. Oh no, I'm good, thank you. No, not that kind of tip. I'm good.
Here you go. Okay, thanks.
Man, it's been a while since I've done any hardline tubing. Now I normally use a little bandsaw to cut it. What do you have? Oh, okay.
That's why my finger is like this.
Okay. It has been a while. Hopefully I remember how to do this.
Yeah, I can do my fan.
I know. I know. I remember that from last time. Those U-bends though.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, good. I'll give you an 8.
Hey, big moment. Test fitting the first tube. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? There we go. Actually, you know what? That's better than I thought that was going to go too. We might make more progress than I thought here. Let's just do it. All right,
That son of a bitch did it. Now we just need to find the perfect person to help with the reveal.
I mean, it's coming together like really well. The first 2 runs have gone great.
Sorry,
Okay,
I'm
let's go. You're an hour late for what?
I'm gonna pick up the computer. I'm supposed to be here like 8.
Wait, is this for you? Oh, we do actually have a computer that's due at 8.
Is
Wait, is this for you?
That looks like what we ordered.
You ordered a system?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me. Did Sammy put you up to this? Wait, sorry, I'm a little confused.
This is yours for, I don't know, 12 hours or something, and then you're gonna give it away tomorrow.
Oh, well, I'm glad I did a good job of building it.
How else are we gonna have a computer giveaway?
Oh, you
Hey, by the way, that still needs to be paid for.
So everyone knew this but me?
I think even some of the people waiting do.
I see how it is. Okay, well, it's all set up now, sir. Me.
As long as the benchmark's well, I think I'll be a happy customer.
You're taking my hardline tubing table, Luke.
What were you tubing?
I don't mind you.
Oh.
Being caught guard on this is fine in terms of I don't mind giving away a PC. But I didn't like let my bank know. Like I actually don't know if I have the means to pay for this right now. All right, James's company card works. So I guess we're good to go. Oh, sorry. I put the saw on there because I didn't think we were gonna be moving around that much. Okay, all right. Jeez, these guys trolling me here. All right, well, here you guys go.
Order fulfilled.
I still have a system to finish. We got 3 more runs.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the market doesn't let us with that. Like, so
Wait, what do you? Oh, you mean like we have to leave them all? Okay, we're finishing this PC. The ball's gonna have to kick us out. That was a cool little technique, by the way. I like that, using the tiles to get your 90. Actually, that's pretty damn good. Dude, I did that by hand. Now I just have to make sure I don't cut it door link.
Shut us down, Ben.
Did they turn off the lights? No, we're so close. One more. The boss just finished this 90. I just gotta do one more 90. Just gotta crank a 90.
Oh yeah. Yep. Looks great.
Looks good. You know what? I do think I'm an A employee. All right,
It'll be A+.
let's fill it.
There she goes. Oh, great.
Dude, this looks flipping gorgeous. Up to standard, right? Yep. That is a sick looking system. What do you think, boss? Have I got what it takes to work in a tech shop?
Of course.
You would hire me?
Yes, of course.
All right. So what would you grade me after one day as your employee?
Yeah, we'll give it a A+.
A+.
Yeah.
That's the best grade he's given me all day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but I have to resign because I'm quite busy tomorrow giving away the other PC.
Okay.
So good luck, guys. Hey, you know, if you need a high-end system build, all you gotta do is go to IKYPC. Thank you so much for letting us come hang out with you today.
Thank you for helping me a full day.
This was so much fun. Now let's go give away that other system that made it so that I had to work overtime to get the main one done. Way to go, James. I have a feeling people are gonna be like waiting for us this time, which was a big part of why I had decided we weren't gonna do a giveaway this year.
It's the same spot. If you do it again next year, you gotta change the spot.
I'm not gonna do it again next year.
Why don't you do the same guy?
No shot.
Upgrade.
No shot. Actually, it's a downgrade.
Kind of hard to beat that, guys.
This guy, he turns around and like charges into a direction. Dude, I think it's gonna be really quick this year. Okay, the world's most distinctive laugh is not gonna help us stay incognito here.
I think one better.
Yeah, can we book it?
Yeah.
We can book it.
I'm putting shot them.
I'm down to book it. Wanna book it? All right. Psych.
Yep. I told you. I told him.
Oh, I got one with this in it. Well, you found us. Guess what?
Only needed, yeah.
You want a PC?
Wait, actually.
Are you gamer?
Yeah. I thought that it was gonna be a first one too, like the second one or third one, not the first one.
Oh, that would have been smart. Congratulations. You just won a brand new PC with an RTX 5070. It's got the new Core Ultra 270K Plus, I believe, water cooled. And okay, this one doesn't have a golden GPU in it, but there is one kind of fun thing. I actually built it personally.
I saw on the that we were talking
That's right. So I worked for a day in the store and I built this PC. Congratulations, you a gamer?
about. Yeah, I'm a gamer. I'm looking for like trying to have a local model of AI running. I want to make up a startup or something.
Oh, cool.
In the medical field, and think with some education for my college applications.
Oh, very cool. Oh, you're a student.
Yeah, I'm a student.
All right. Well, congratulations. I hope you have a ride home or some way of carrying it.
I'll fine.
Oh, he did the thing.
Jesus.
Right now. All right. Thank you very much for being such a good sport today. Thank you.
Cold
Always good.
Uber.
If you guys enjoyed this video, you might like the one from 2 years ago where we first met IKYPC and blindsided him by reviewing his PC in front of 10 million people. But fortunately, he does such a great job that I think you ended up getting a bunch of people coming out for more PCs, right?
Yeah, but actually this year is not that good at all because the RAM and the SSD prices getting higher and higher. So yeah, I think maybe this is last year.
Last year at the mall?
Yeah, maybe.
Really?
Well, I'll try my best.
I doubt it after this video.
Okay, thank you.
If you guys need a high-end gaming system, you guys know where to come.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
O seu intestino está funcionando bem? A aparência das fezes pode dizer muito sobre a sua saúde. Existe até uma classificação para isso. A escala de Bristol. A escala de Bristol divide as fezes em 7 tipos diferentes e ajuda a identificar se o intestino está saudável ou se existe algum sinal de alerta. Constipação, diarreia, síndrome do intestino irritável ou inflamações intestinais. Os tipos 1 e 2 da escala de Bristol são aqueles mais ressecados, bolinhas pequenas e duras ou fezes em formato de salsicha, cheia de grumos. Isso geralmente indica prisão de vez. Já os tipos 3, 4 e 5 são considerados os mais saudáveis. O tipo 3 tem um formato alongado com pequenas fissuras. O tipo 4 é liso, macio e fácil de evacuar. E o tipo 5 aparece em pedaços macios, mas bem definidos. Esses padrões costumam indicar o intestino funcionando normalmente. Agora, se estiverem muito pastosas e desmanchando ou totalmente líquidas, como nos casos dos tipos 6 e 7, isso pode estar relacionado a quadros de diarreia, infecções ou outros problemas intestinais. Além de formato, outros sinais também têm importância. O intestino saudável costuma funcionar pelo menos 3 vezes por semana, sem dor, sem esforço, sem sangue e sem excesso de... E o que mais ajuda o intestino a funcionar bem? Água, alimentação rica em fibras e atividade física. Uma dieta composta por verduras, legumes, frutas e sementes faz grande diferença na saúde intestinal. Mas atenção, mudanças persistentes na textura, na frequência, na cor das fezes ou sintomas como dor e sangramento precisam de avaliação médica. Evite tomar medicamentos ou fazer mudanças drásticas na dieta por conta própria.
Hold on.
Pokemon Pikachu 2. And when you shake it, what Pikachu will do for you. Pokemon after Red and Blue's release is probably, in my opinion, when Game Freak was at an all-time high for stress. Imagine being this unknown company turned into a worldwide name overnight. Pokemon exceeded expectations well beyond anyone would have assumed, with easily hitting over 1 million sales like nothing. So Game Freak must have been in a lot of pressure to figure out how they would keep the hype train moving. Sadly, we wouldn't see a new game till way later, but because they knew they had to act fast, Game Freak decided to look elsewhere for inspiration and release a title that would not take as long to make, but still feel relevant. And that inspiration being the Pokemon anime. Now, I don't think a lot of people realize just how much the anime influenced Pokemon, as it was due to the show that we could see these monsters we've grown to love were more than just a sprite on a tiny screen, but a creature that had desires, wants, emotions, personality, you name it. It's also when Pokemon would start to have their designs matched to what we were used to. Gone were the days of weird-ass Machamps or Vaporeons for a more established look. Granted, this was still during an era where the team never used model sheets, with that only being something they cared about once Gen 3 came around. So there were some inconsistencies still. But to say watching how Pokemon would interact and even weak Pokemon inside the games like Onix become a threat in the show, it was a very unique spin on the world that they set up in the GB titles, with even cities that in-game were nothing more than a small village at best, being shown to have vast areas of land we the player never even knew existed. But to say the anime was the only way we got to see these monsters in action would be wrong, as predating only by a bit was the manga known as Pocket Monsters. Now the manga in question as of today feels like a fever dream. You want to talk about it feeling vastly different from the games? The trainer Red has a Clefairy that is believed to be his main Pokemon, but Pikachu is still here. He's still prominent though, just not the main character. However, in this, Pokemon can talk, they can shit, hiss, they sometimes grab the main character's cock, and even can go back to their pre-evolutions. Misty even looked like this. Yeah, to say this is vastly different even compared to the anime would be main character. However, in this, Pokemon can talk, they can shit, hiss, they sometimes grab the main character's cock, and even can go back to their pre-evolutions. Misty even looked like this. Yeah, to say this is vastly different even compared to the anime would be an understatement. But I bring this up because the game we're talking about today is Pokemon Yellow, which if you don't know is supposed to be based off the anime, as it was ongoing at the time. Thanks to the huge leak, however, that occurred back in 2018, we did learn that Pokemon Pink was what we almost got, and it was going to be based off the manga. But I think you see why they didn't go that route. Now, why does Yellow exist? Well, to make it plain and simple, third game meant money. Fourth game if you're Japan, however. So it was a no-brainer to pretty much go and say, let's take the already popular anime and make that into the game. Because of this, I sometimes hear that Pokemon Yellow is the definitive edition of Gen 1, and my response is no, it's not. Like by far no. But to find out why, let's go ahead and finally make that dive into the last Gen 1 game we have to cover, as I finally talk about Pokemon Yellow Pikachu Edition. Now, I think it was a no-brainer to make the game's art and theme be around the anime and Pikachu, especially when you realize this is pretty much the same experience. Wait, Game Freak re-released the same exact title but with small changes? And the answer is yes. Now, while it seems even in modern days Game Freak is the only company that can do this and get a pass, but at the time in Japan, this was a common occurrence in the industry. Re-releasing big hits with either glitches being patched, new small additions, or just have it be easier to get while feeling like there was some incentive for people to double dip. I even remember Silent Hill 2 having a new story edition in the greatest hits version, or how Resident Evil got the director's cut where the music is scarier than the game itself. It's just when there's over 4 ways of playing Gen 1 in Japan, with them pretty much all having varying changes, it's a bit much. When it came to Yellow, the anime inspiration was front and center. No longer was Red the first choice on the name list, but now Ash was. Your rival had Gary listed and wore similar attire to him. Gym leaders like Surge and Koga rock their anime teams, and most importantly, Jesse and James are in the game, even if not named as such. This was also the first time we got introduced to your creatures tagging along outside the Pokeball, known as following Pokemon, with your starter ending up being Pikachu. Because the anime Pikachu hates being inside his Pokeball, so does yours. Unless he dies and he's going right inside. Now, on one hand, this does seem like a cool addition, as it feels more in line with the anime, helping people feel more at home with Gen 1, because especially as of today, Red and Blue can come off quite boring to most Pokemon enjoyers. It's just a lot of the changes either are good, or they just make things even easier or worse. Like for example, the inclusion of what Pokemon you can get and can't. Now, a huge one-up is that all starters are available, meaning you can make a team that consists of every Gen 1 starter. But that's pretty much where my praise ends. If you wanted to complete the Pokédex in Yellow, you actually need to then have both Red and Blue. This is because 13 Pokemon are now unattainable from the whole game. We're missing Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill, Ekans, Arbok, Meowth, Persian, Coughing, Weezing, Raichu, Jinx, Electabuzz, and finally Magmar. Look, I get why Weedle through Raichu aren't attainable as it's due to the anime. Since Ash never gets a Weedle, that makes it not an option. The evil team's Pokemon shouldn't be usable by you, so of course they are locked to their specific trainers. But if that's the case, why can we still get Eevee? Like if we're going to have these arbitrary rules, then let's be consistent about it. Raichu I understand because Ash's Pikachu didn't evolve, so yours also can't. But like they're just scrapped entirely from the game. However, the 3 I really don't get are the last ones I mentioned. I straight up do not understand why we can't obtain them. Jinx I guess is gone due to her trade being removed, but so are Lickitung and Farfetch, who are now attainable in the wild. But Magmar and Electabuzz? Why? Lane doesn't even have Magmar yet since the anime hasn't reached that point when the game came out. So like why is he gone? Regardless though, even if Lane did have Magmar, you can still get every gym's ace Pokemon besides Giovanni and Surge's. Electabuzz is just scrapped for whatever reason. I straight up can't understand why, and because of his absence, it pretty much forces you to use a Jolteon if you want a really good electric type. But you probably won't since you have Pikachu, and if you want to play how the game is intended, then that's who you will keep. Now, I'm not saying the Pokemon that are missing are heavy hitters that are needed for a playthrough, but when this is the supposed re-release, you would expect more to be here, not more taken away. Now, when it comes to changes I do like, I find the new sprites all resembling their anime counterparts to be a good addition, as even with nostalgia talking, man, our Gen 1 sprites hideous. But the issue is because only the front sprites got changed. It's very clear the back sprites aren't the same designs. Like Venusaur still has his green look, Dragonite even still has his spinal issues. It can ruin the immersion a bit for some, as I was always taken back to see my guy looking like this, knowing he actually is this. But minor gripes aside on Pokemon, I adore how all the Pokemon Center ladies reflect the look of Nurse Joy, or how the cops have Officer Jenny's appearance. Plus, a lot of route trainers had their names changed to reflect the opponents fought in the anime by Ash. Plus, the map itself has some very minor changes to the point I needed them pointed out for me to even notice. But Windows doors and the signs you can find have new sprites, with Cerulean Cave getting a whole new layout entirely. So yeah, again, new additions, just minor at best. Overall, these changes are nice to implement, but this is still the same Gen 1 from Red and Blue. But visual aside, I do think Gen 1 needed a huge fix when it came to its game design, and it doesn't take a 2-hour and 30-minute video to tell you how fucked Gen 1 is. As code and game-wise, just oh my god. So Yellow being like an update to the core experience, glitches like the missing of spawn and Cinnabar hatch. You can no longer find anything inside Cerulean Gym whenever you use the fishing rod. The infamous level 100 stat overflow is MIA. Kadabra can finally have his signature move Kinesis, as the programming error where it can only learn the move at level 0 is fixed, and some soft locks got patched. However, the horrible AI, the awful trainer teams are all still here. In fact, made worse for some gym leaders. Every huge issue for battling as in Red and Blue, it's sadly still in Yellow. So the package is more for show than an actual helpful improvement to the overall experience. As what they did patch out, in my opinion, were interesting glitches over actual game-breaking ones. Now that's not to say there aren't some actual good fixes for overall game feel. It's just not a lot. Because I mean, thank God someone at Game Freak saw that Pikachu is an electric type and what Brock is packing. So as a result, they allow Pokemon like Mankey to be found earlier, or Butterfree and Nidoran learning moves that are helpful against Brock sooner than usual. Even TMs have more opportunities to work on newer Pokemon, with Fly and Charizard being the prime example. But for some reason, it was someone's bright idea to make trainer fights have moves for their Pokemon not even learned by level up. So that's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I think Yellow's biggest crime is how it ruins some of the most important fights in the game. Before I royally shit on it, I want to at least show some praise for trainer fights in Yellow. Like Lance now has a good counter for most water ice types, as his Pokemon will have access to Thunder. Or heck, even Brock's Onix has Bind now, which gives it a chance to trap you. I also find Blaine to be a better battle thanks to him having 9 tails, but he still suffers the same issue of being a mono fire guy around the ocean. But despite those good fixes, dude, so many gyms are ruined. Like let's look at Erica. She's not even a challenging fight in the first games, but because this needs to be like the anime, she has no fully evolved Pokemon, making her 10 times easier. Koga then takes the same idea, but instead relies only on Venonat and Venomoth. Surge though, he has a higher level Raichu while scrapping everyone else, and is still next to Diglett Cave. He does at least have access to Mega Punch and Mega Kick, so can damage Diglett and Dugtrio, but it's again Raichu. Sabrina also gets a worse team as she loses out on 2 Pokemon for an Abra, and it just knows Flash. You see what I'm saying here? It's why I don't get how this is Gen 1's optimal way to experience Kanto. For every good change that's added, we're then hit with like 5 shit ones. Because of these teams now, it makes the gym leaders feel so unbalanced. Imagine going from the 3rd gym with a guy that has a full evolved Pokemon to then fight Erica, who's worse off for what? So I can feel like a mash. The difficulty curve is just all over the place. I never found the gyms to be insanely challenging in Red and Blue, but I found them to be fair with how everything was introduced. Here it pretty much never feels like the challenge is consistently rising when Koga technically could be bested by Surge's Raichu. I get why the changes are made, but some of these callbacks to the anime are either so deep cut you have to be a huge Pokemon fan to notice, or just makes the game worse. So despite that, I do prefer Red and Blue as a whole over Yellow any day. That being said though, Yellow does have one thing I really love and always will praise, and that's Pikachu and how he's implemented into the experience. Look, if you're playing Yellow, you should be playing this for Pikachu, as boxing him is making your experience worse. Like I get it, he sucks, he can't evolve. Bro is pretty much a walking Surskit. He's bad. But because of how he's portrayed in the game and these secret details and whatnot makes me adore keeping him around. Pikachu even has a sound effects change to his voice in the anime. Granted, it sounds like this, but that is so insanely cool to see. Pikachu as a whole was a good guinea pig for things that would fall later on in the series, with the most notable being friendship levels. Yeah, just like the anime, Pikachu fucking hates you when you first get him, especially if you die a lot with him. He won't even look at you. So to watch as you both travel and battle together, seeing his little portrait become happier as time goes on is heartwarming. Granted,
I just do the posting glitch where
if you spam it on Pikachu, it's helpful. He starts to like you. I don't know why this happens, but damn, is this charming. If you somehow saw my Hey Pikachu video, which if you haven't, go watch it please. I really love that one. It's probably my favorite one I've ever made. You won't know how I praise the secrets that were hidden away with Pikachu, like how you can eat together while fishing. Pokemon Yellow has some interesting interactions that are so specific to witness. Most notable being how if you have Pikachu learn thunder inside a cave, he will then use it to light everything up. Status effects have him also make different faces, most being painful expressions. So it does even went as far as to program him to look around at the world if you don't move. His walking animation speed is even tied to how much Pikachu likes you. Or one of my favorites is watching him hop up on the counter to be healed at the Pokemon Center. It's a simple addition, but it makes Pikachu feel alive. I still to this day remember the interaction when you talk to the Jigglypuff inside the Pokemon Center and it begins to sing, which causes Pikachu to pass out, with this being my favorite out of all the interactions. Like there's so many different moments that are again so specific, but I can't deny how much I appreciate this. It's still an insane thing to think about how Pikachu became the series mascot, with there being so much lore and history behind his creation. With it coming from the team wanting cute designs and asking Atsuko Nishida to come up with them. She went on to say that during Pikachu's design phase, he looked nothing like how he does now and looked closer to a Daifuku, adding how you couldn't even tell where his head and body began. We even lost out on a third evolution known as Orochu for the Pikachu line. It's things like that in the history of Pikachu as a whole is why I even found myself to love him after all this time. Looking back at the insane old merch and his spin-offs makes me glad Pikachu did his own game because it meant we got fun experiences like Hey Pikachu and the Pokepark types. But it does suck that his first major role had to be in a far worse way to experience Gen 1. Now, do I think Yellow is worth checking out? Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a good time, but I just don't find it to be as fun as Red and Blue. But if you're wanting to just experience the anime, then go watch it. It's easy to locate. It has age free low. In fact, I found myself even laughing my ass off at moments like where Ash desperately tries to save his Metapod, or the scene where they do a hard off dash. You know damn well the Japanese men behind this were laughing their fucking asses off riding this at a local bar. So again, if the anime is what you want, then Yellow is the worst way to experience it. Although it's finally time to move on to Gen 2, as I don't think there's much else I could cover here. I personally feel I did Gen 1 its justice and found a new appreciation for it all. From the bugginess to the epicness. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow will still have a special place in my heart for sure. But oh my god, are these games still made with duct tape and a dream?
Welcome back to Slop Live. Today's Slop at Google is in big trouble. This happened a little earlier in the month, but Google is being held liable for its fake AI answers. You're aware Google has AI Overview, which often gives incorrect results. Google's Overview had two publishing companies with links to dubious business practices, subscription traps, and fraudulent schemes. It had combined information from actual shady companies and invented connections that weren't real. Google saying they were not responsible for the data processing itself. Instead, the overview content was not its own. It's saying the top result on their page wasn't their problem. Well, the court actually rejected Google's argument. The court ruling that the AI summary did not just merely display or link to search result, but constituted distinct content attributable to Google. The court also finding that the reader was given no indication of any unreliability in the content, ordering Google to stop spreading false claims and to bear 80% of the legal costs. So Google can be held responsible for its AI spreading false news. And why is this relevant? Well, if you saw my video yesterday about the market fraud that was exposed, Google's AI was telling my viewers I was directly tied to the controversy and I was one of the high-profile influencers indicated in a shadow marketing campaign. I even had multiple people emailing me them getting similar results. With AI not only saying I was involved, but fully hallucinating an entire backlash, saying because Donald Duck has spent over a decade building a reputation as an edgy anti-corporate internet commentator mocking corruption, his core audience viewed this as a massive betrayal. His community took to Twitter and Reddit to call out the hypocrisy of secretly taking millions in corporate gambling money to push literal fabrications onto his young fan base. I think there's only one literal fabrication here, Google. I also looked at it myself and got similar results, saying I was one of several high-profile online creators implicated in a major investigation. It just tied me to an entire scam and hallucinating an entire series of events. So given the news in general, I decided to ask none other than Google AI itself if I could sue Google. With it giving me a list of things that I'd have to prove, Donald Duck's legal team would need to establish 3 elements. False statement of fact. The AI must present the lie as an undisputed fact, e.g. Donald Duck was paid to fake trades, rather than framing it as a guess, an opinion, or a summary of unverified rumors. Well, that is true. It's stated as a fact in multiple different occasions to several different people. Measurable harm. He must prove the AI hallucination caused him tangible financial harm or severely damaged his professional reputation. Well, on my video talking about the scams, there's 2 comments saying how could you betray us like this, Donald? 3,100 likes and 1,400 likes respectively. So that's 4,500 people who like these very serious comments and feel betrayed. So I think that's pretty measurable harm to my reputation. And finally, the false statement must be published to a third party. If the AI only told you privately in the chat window, it's much harder to argue widespread reputational damage. Once again, the screenshot was not in a private chat window. This was on Google AI Overview. And I just checked now before uploading this video, and it does seem like they might have saying
laughing while
and so I
drinking
typed Google
coffee.
AI Overview claim that was responsible for Google AI responded saying Google AI Overviews often generates inaccurate information by misinterpreting satirical content or conflating separate news stories. So it's literally aware that it often generates inaccurate information, and it's still just the first result you get when you type onto Google. Just absolutely amazing stuff. It's a little too late, Google. Does sound like I have a case, so I'll be moving to Germany, and I'll see you guys in court. Thanks for slop.
Every role in Overwatch is basically a job, and most of you are showing up to that job like it's your second day at McDonald's. You know the burger goes in the bun, and that's about where your knowledge ends. You know a tank should stand in front, a DPS should get elims, and a support should heal, but your understanding stops there. Playing your role correctly is essential to climbing and working with your team. That's why today I'll give you 3 rules for each of the 3 roles in Overwatch that'll help you better fill your position on the team and win more games. Everything a tank does is built on this one, which is why it's the first rule in the video. Your job is to lead the engagement and decide when the fight begins. You're out front, you're the spearhead, you control the tempo of the match. Tempo's just the rhythm of the fight. When it starts, how fast it moves. You already know the bad version. You're tanking, nobody's moving, everybody's staring down the same hallway waiting for a hero to set something up. That dead air is a tank not doing their job. When you sit there passive, your team has no rhythm and nobody commits because the person who calls the start isn't calling it. The tank who owns the tempo makes 5 strangers feel coordinated even when it's a complete mess, and that's really the trick. Your engage fakes teamwork out of people who have never spoken to each other before. So actually decide. Your callouts and your first move set when the fight happens, so use them. Pick a moment and go first. Sure, you might walk forward and instantly get blown up, obliterated, smashed to smithereens, but at least you tried to go in. I promise you'll never win a game by sitting at the choke for the entirety of the match. You have to walk, you have to move. If you've played any other role, I'm sure you've felt this where you stand behind your tank just begging them, pleading with them to walk forward. Please move so that we can actually start the fight. That's your job as tank. You start the fight. Stop waiting for permission. Own the role. And you can't dictate tempo without owning the ground you're fighting on, which is rule 2. Taking and holding physical space is the whole job here. Corners, chokes, the objective, the high ground, hold them and spend your cooldowns at the right moments. The simplest test there is if the enemy can't stand somewhere without dying, that space is yours. You've lived the failure state. Your whole team's jammed at the choke, nobody can push, and the match grinds into nothing. Kings Row is a great example here, where teams get glued to the entrance of lane A because their tank won't take space from the enemy tank. When you won't take space, your team can't move and the enemy stands wherever they leave. Rule 2 is almost an evolution in addition to rule 1. Sure, you're always supposed to move forward and start the fight, dictate the tempo of a match, but how do you actually do that? Well, it's by controlling space and chokes. All dictating tempo really means is that you try and hold space. You take a moment to try and take some space from the enemy team. Not doing so has a cost that you can easily see on your screen. An enemy Widowmaker perched on a high ground you never contest is a space problem and it's yours to fix. Everyone knows that high ground is some of the most valuable real estate on any map. And if the enemy team has high ground, it's your job as a tank to go clear it, or at least to lead your team to go clear it. And if you're held at a choke, to get through it, you have to commit. You have to jump past it or move through it quickly, whichever corner has to your enemies. And from there, your only job is to take as little damage as possible. You don't have to win the corner necessarily. You just have to survive it, and your team will own everything behind you. And speaking of the people behind you, the third rule is about not abandoning the people standing right behind you in that space you just created. Healing's the rule tank players forget the second they get value up on. It means turning around when your supports get threatened without throwing the objective and without turning the game into a chase. In practice, it's protecting your supports during a fight. Any role can do it, but it mostly lands on you. It happens every single game. You're deep on the enemy team, feeling unstoppable, and a flanker's already in your backline deleting your honor. You never look back, your supports die, and your big aggressive play means nothing because the people keeping you alive are dead. So the solution is pretty simple. Check on your supports constantly and be ready to turn the instant they're in trouble. Standing next to them is not protection either. You protect them by removing pressure. On Winston, that means diving back into your own line to keep the healers breathing. You go scare off or kill the thing hunting them, and any tank can do it. Zarya can bubble, Diva can eat bullets with her defense matrix, Roadhog can hook the flanker, Wrecking Ball can knock people away, Run can shield, Orisa can spear someone away. All the tanks have tools to protect your backline. The takeaway is very simple. Look over your shoulder, listen for the damage, and let that sound be your cue to turn around. That's your 3 rules for tank, and they all build on top of each other. You dictate the tempo of a match by when you move and how you move. When you're moving to dictate the tempo, your job is to control space and take it away from the enemy team. And while doing that, you have to turn around sometimes and make sure you heal for your team. It's pretty simple, but most people never even think about this stuff while they're playing. You know what else people don't think about? Subscribing to the channel. If you're enjoying this video and finding it helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Also, let me know what you think about the new format. We're trying out something different, so if you're enjoying that as well, let me know in the comments. All right, that's tank out of the way. Let's move on to damage. The first damage rule is pretty simple. It's target priority. While it's simple and everybody knows it, I don't think most people actually know it. Most people are just dumping damage into whatever's easiest to hit instead of deleting the targets that actually matter that flip the fight. The easiest thing to shoot is almost never the one that actually matters. People farm the tank all the time on autopilot because the giant tank is the easiest thing to hit. Tanks are huge. They're right there in front of you, and 40 seconds later you've racked up massive damage and killed absolutely nobody, while their supports stood in the open whole game and you never even glanced at them. But target priority really goes so far beyond just target the supports. You really need to be thinking about what the enemy team has as their win condition. And while we could probably make a whole separate video on win conditions and how you play around them, this is the thing that really dictates target priority. Sure, in neutral, when neither team has a game-winning ultimate and nobody really has an advantage on the map, targeting just the supports will work fine. Often the first fight, the best thing to do is target the supports. But what happens after that first fight? Well, you need to go for the thing that will end the next fight. This will most often be the supports, but it can often be a Reaper who has his ultimate. If he gets that ult off, he will win the fight. So it becomes your job to kill him before he can, and that's what dictates the fight. It becomes a lot less about who do I kill to win the fight, and instead, who do I kill on the enemy team to stop them from winning the fight. And where you're standing really dictates what you can even shoot at, which is our next rule. This might be the single highest value rule on this entire list. And off angles, any spot that lets you shoot from a different direction than your team's main lane, adjacent to your group, hitting the enemy from the side or straight into their backline. As DPS, you're meant to live on these off angles. However, almost nobody does. They funnel into the same doorway as the whole team and shoot the exact choke point everyone else is shooting. Take an off angle instead, and you create a crossfire. Stack a few angles, and the enemy team has to split their attention, their cooldowns, their positioning. That's how raw damage turns into actual pressure and keeps you out of the big AoE that punishes everyone clumped together. Use the map for this. High ground, cover, link routes, all of it keeps you alive longer and allows you to have more impact on the map. Mastering off angles as a DPS wins games. The hero you're playing will also dictate which off angles you should be taking. Genji wants a short off angle, while Ashe might want a long one. There's a tell here too. When your tank's too scared to engage, you and your supports get shoved into bad off angles you didn't choose. A real off angle is a decision rather than a panic decision. Pick one on purpose next game and watch the enemy fall apart trying to trap you. Also, for all of the other rules, for the love of God, if you see your DPS going on an off angle, please don't follow them because their flank quickly becomes not a flank anymore when the entirety of your team is on the flank. Okay, but this next rule is what you do when your angle's perfect but your team still won't cooperate. Your teammates aren't always going to cooperate, and the fix is picking a hero that you don't need them to cooperate to have success on. In solo queue, you should prioritize your own execution and survival. Built-in healing, mobility, strong duels. Play around natural cover in the map. Expecting perfect pocket heals and clean tank space from randoms is just asking to lose. Better players will swap to self-reliant heroes and adapt to messy lobbies instantly. And that's the final DPS rule I have for you. Swap to better, more self-reliant heroes whenever you're not getting the support you need. Soldier 76 is the classic. I mean, his biotic field heals him and he can run around the map all on his own and basically single-handedly win the game. Reaper's a monster in solo queue for the exact same reason. Passive healing, great form, and a fight swinging ultimate. While slightly less self-reliant, Cassidy brings high base damage and a flashbang that wins almost any duel, allowing him to be pretty self-sufficient. If you click heads good enough, you can just kill everybody on your own. You don't really need your team. And personally, I really love Mei because she's just a brutal hero to play against when played by somebody who's good on her. She has great damage even from a distance. The wall really lets you dictate how a match plays out. You can almost tank by yourself, and you have ice block, which basically means you can live forever on your own. If you feel like you're not getting the support you need, the best thing you can do is really adjust your own play, find play more cover, and swap to a more self-sufficient hero to take care of yourself. Stop blaming the lobby and your supports, and just pick someone who can survive on their own. If you go back and watch the replay for a game where you feel like you didn't get the help you needed, you'll see that most people are just doing their best. They're trying, things just aren't going their way. So the best thing you can do is pick someone that will allow you to play the way you want to. Now let's flip the complete other side of all of this with supports. This rule starts before the fight even begins. Take your support to fill whatever your team's missing, whether it's heal, a win condition, or damage. They aren't interchangeable, and treating them like they are is half of your problem. People love rolling out on the weakest heal comps imaginable, like Lucio and Mercy, or Mercy and Zenyatta. You should be looking at the entire roster of the supports and making a conscious decision, not just insta-locking the hero that you want to play. There are supports with big utility, like Lucio and Ana. There are supports who do unhealing, like Moira. Zenyatta and Iari have big damage. Or you can help shore up your backline and protect your other support or a squishy DPS you have. You really need to start reading the situation and picking the appropriate support that your team needs. Ultimate split it up too. Zen's healing ult is reactive. Lucio's shield ult goes up before the damage hits, so read that gap and fill it. Getting go of staying near your tank and swap to something that handles flankers better, like Moira or Grid. Your hero's a read, not a comfort pick that you autopilot every single game. What does your team need from you on this map and against the enemy team's heroes? That's what you actually need to pick. And once you've picked the right hero, the question becomes, what do you do with your time in the fight? The second support rule is about escaping the heal bot trap. You can heal your team by dealing damage. The whole idea is min-maxing. Heal when your team needs it, deal damage in the downtime. Healing and damage aren't enemies, they take turns. Newer supports that live inside the trap either only do damage or only heal, never really mixing the two together. Reacting purely on defense might stabilize a fight, but it never carries one. You can't out-heal incoming damage anyway, so cut the source. Kill the Zarya, melting your Reinhardt, and you just save his life without even pressing heal once. But never abandon your job as a support. You're supposed to heal people. Doing damage alone will not keep them alive. There's a fine balance to be had. There's plenty of moments where healing is the biggest play on the screen. The guiding line is heal and use defensive cooldowns when you're relieving pressure. Heal damage and utility when you're creating it. Stop overhealing a tank sitting at 97% HP behind cover. He doesn't need you. Don't throw your Suzu on somebody who's anti but perfectly safe behind cover. They don't need it. Throw some kunai. Go help your DPS win their duel. If you've got no good pocket target, you're better off on a support that finds value on its own. Baptiste, Kiriko, and Zenyatta weave in damage without dropping their healing at all. But you also don't have to push it further, only killing people at critical and staying on the offensive otherwise. You don't have to go that far. Just stop hiding behind some massive healing stat and acting like you couldn't have done anything else to carry the game. Which finally brings us to the hardest rule on the list, the one about letting go. The last rule, and it's the one that hurts pretty much everyone else in the game because it impacts everyone and revolves around everyone else's play. Don't pour cooldowns and healing into a teammate who's already dead and just doesn't know it yet. Add positioning or heavy enemy pressure locks the death in, and prolonging it wastes your time, your life, and gives the enemy team more ult charge. This is a support play that single-handedly throws a game. Your Suzu, your biotic grenade, your immortality field, gone. Picture it. Your tank walks into the open. Your Kiriko teleports in on Swift step, throws a wasted Suzu, panic pops Kitsune rush, and they die anyway. The whole match is gone because the Kiriko just couldn't let the tank die. Read the enemy first. If your DPS gets slept in the middle of a Ramattra or Bastion ult, he's dead. Just let him die. Let him swap or something. He's gone. Don't try and save him. If the enemy isn't even attacking you, hold those cooldowns. Don't burn them on basic healing. These sort of supports get punished the hardest here. Wu Yang's water healing runs off a slowly regenerating meter, so blowing it on a lost cause leaves him empty and exposed when the real fight starts. Adding your healing numbers by dragging out lost fights actively loses games. If a group jumps your teammate, retreat, live, and regroup. Knowing when to let go is a skill. Go build it. Practice a little. You're gonna let some people die who probably could have been saved, but it's a skill you have to develop to get good at this game. No amount of pumping all of your healing is gonna save a tank who's just holding W into 5 people's worth of damage every single time you go to the choke. It just will never work. Stop trying to heal them and move that support to one of your DPS or your other support, and that's all 9. Reaper tanks, Reaper DPS, and Reaper supports. None of them require better aim. They just require better decisions, and you can start making them in your very next game. Thanks for watching and subscribe.
What's really interesting about the absence of a biological father is that this is not specific to the human species. So you can look at studies of elephants, and what you will find is delinquency of adolescent elephants is also correlated to the presence or absence of older males. So one of the really interesting things about this is that like teenage boys are kept in line more by men than by women. Now this doesn't mean so that we have to understand this is not ballistic. This is risk factors. So literally the way they do the study is they'll look at kids with conduct disorder and they'll measure a bunch of variables. One of which is absence of biological mother, one of which is absence of biological father. And what they find is that this variable has the tightest association. Only child doesn't correlate with conduct disorder. Mother with anxiety disorder predisposes their child to anxiety, and parents who use corporal punishment increases the risk of conduct disorder.
Sometimes if you're lucky, you really do get to do what you love at work. And today, I get to build a keyboard. The Numeer Clavier 2. Clavier, I'm not 100% sure. What I am sure of is this is the world's first art mechanical keyboard. Whatever that means, I don't entirely know yet. I was given a pile of stuff and told to build a board. So what we've got here is probably keycap set. Yes, that's a cool stylized keycap set. It's some JTK beige as a free gift. I love free gifts. That means it's for me. That means I get to take these home. Just kidding. We also got the others red, beige, and other slightly different beige. All right, what else have we got? Stabilizers. Screw-in stabilizers. You're gonna need some of these as you build your board. Oh my god, these are good stabilizers. Or it's a nice kit at least anyway. I haven't looked up a guide on how to build this board, so we'll see. But this is probably pretty intuitive. We've actually got 2 sets of screw-in stabilizers. I don't know why. This is probably enough, but we got 2 of them. So we got JTK keycaps, but more of that beige set. Yep. red beige original. So this is the actual full keycap set. What I really want to see is what's in this box. Ooh, so you got a peel on here? Oh, baby. That didn't peel off very well at all. I 100% ripped off the O in the eye. Let me try that. And it, like, I wasn't peeling that aggressively. Okay, I got them off. Okay, there we go. Fixed. It never happened. It feels pretty premium. Oh my gosh. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, you know, the beige would look pretty good in this, actually. Looks like we got the white one instead of the black. And, oh, I think I know what they're calling it the first art keyboard. Oh my god, it's heavy. Under the little staircase. Okay, let's see how long I can hold this. We've got a whole bunch of like foams and inserts. Case foam. Yep, cool. Oh, okay, I'll put it down. I'll put it down. We got a little user manual. I would love build instructions. Like, I know probably how to put this together, but installation. Open the top cover. Place case foam BNC. Place the assembled keyboard sandwich. Connect the flat cable. Turn clockwise to increase tension, resulting in a heavier Titan feel. All right, I will save this for later when I build, because that might actually come in handy. What else we got? All the screws, I'm guessing. And we've got all of our these little keys. I'm guessing the leaf springs or whatever. And we just got all like case screws, PCB screws. I would love it if these were actually labeled as that instead of just like M26, M24, and oh, it's wireless. Oh yeah, it's like the battery or something. So that's the easy part. Now the hard part's putting it together, which you know shouldn't actually be all that hard. 4.8 kilos, which is 10.67 pounds. That's heavy. I do like the integrated wrist rest. And it's got going on. I love seeing the internals too. That's so cool. It's got a little branding stamp on there. The bottom is super cool too, because it's actually like multiple pieces, and it's like indented here. Like this is all you put your fingers in here and stuff. It's not like one solid piece, which is a little surprising. I love that. In the front, like, it's really solid all the way up to the end there. Two little bar guides in the front, two vertical bars in the back that are curved slightly, maybe for the extra weight, so that piece can press down. I don't know. Okay, so literally all you should do now is take the PCB from this pile, take your films and stuff because they'll go in different layers, and then you just put it together and then pop it down, which is actually really cool and really kind of ingenious. I don't know what. Whoa, you can see the mechanical. What the fuck? Check this out. So that even that is so satisfying. But watch these guys go on there. They like move it down and out of the way. Why? I don't know, but they do. What will they think up next? I don't know. I gotta get this little rim cable in there. I don't want that to get chomped. Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way a little bit. Let's look at see what we got here. This is our boron foam plate and underswitch PE layer. This is our printed circuit board case foam A. Peel off the plastic and attach the adhesive side to the back of the PCB. Okay, we've got foams in there. They didn't tell me to peel any adhesive back, and also I didn't. That shouldn't make a massive difference in sound anyway. Just have a little bit extra peel on there, so whatever I left it. Case foam A. Peel off the film and attach it to the back of the PCB. That's easy. Yes. Yeah. Printed circuit board. We've got underswitch PE layer. Or actually, the rim cable is pretty deep. I wonder if it does go. Yeah, let's go on the bottom. Okay, cool. There's some papers on there. Okay. Instead of using our Teflon or our shims, we've got these little rubber pads that came with the stabilizer pack. And I've never used these before or seen them before, so I kind of want to try them today. I don't know if they're meant to go along with the shims and the pads or not, but I'm gonna use them just kind of as they are because it seems to me like you're just adding rubber instead of Teflon, and that sounds like a good idea. So let's try it. Let's put our stabilizers in and install our PCB. I gotta say, I love this like blue speckled finish on these stabilizers. Like it sucks. You never see them like once the board's built. But these are really pretty. Okay, now my favorite part: screwing in stabilizers. I'm kidding. This is my least favorite part. I'm gonna add the washers anyway, just in case those rubber guys. Actually, yeah, they're on the sides. Yes, definitely still want to add your washers. And this is where the tiny screws are bound, and you can lose them very easily. Now I need my tiny screwdriver. Okay, now we've got all of our stabilizers built. Only 3 for this guy, that's not too bad. I'm gonna put this film down, and then we're gonna pop one of them on first. Stabilizers are in. We're just gonna last foam layer right here. Okay, now just pop our plates on. And now the best part. We're gonna install 63, 65, 67 switches, however many this takes. And I've got 3 options here. All 3 are lubed, so that's great. These look the same. They're black and purple. Ooh, they sound lubed and nice. Okay, then one of these. I think there's just more of them because they also look black and purple, are they? No, also linear. Alright, so these gotta be the same. Linear, nylon top, nylon bottom, pump stand, 50mm spring, 50 to 62 grams actuation. These are the same switches. We've got the fancy jar, so these are gonna be a little lighter, but they come in this cool can. These nice amber looking ones aren't available at launch, so I'm gonna use the nice little purple guys. These are a little heavier anyway, and I prefer kind of heavier linear, so it's like a 2 gram difference or 3 grams or something, whatever. It makes a difference, so we're gonna use those. And start populating. It took quite a bit of struggling, to be honest, to get this plate. Like, I genuinely had to stretch it a little bit to get through these stabilizers, to the point where I started installing them upside down, in case maybe something had gone wrong in the factory, but no, that wasn't working any better, and so I flipped them all back the right way. I literally had to like struggle and stretch, work on the camera at the time, because I figured out, it's gonna take a little while. But yeah, it's on, and I want this to stay on, so I'm gonna start putting switches in. Pretty simple, you just line up these pins with the little holes in the board, or the little pegs on the side as well, and you just try to push them straight down. They should go in really easily. If they don't, take it out, inspect your pins, make sure they're not bent. If they are bent, take some needle nose pliers and just squeeze them straight again, and try again. Their plate works, and it feels like palm, so it's okay material, but I don't know if the tolerance is really tight or what it is, but I've never had to struggle this much putting a plate. But now that it's on, yeah, switches are just going in. Okay, now that our keyboard sandwich is built, the only thing left is to eat it. And by that, I mean throw it in our case. And I'm gonna do it again because it's so satisfying. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this rim cable is gonna plug in down here. Okay, that should be in. So next we've got 8 screws. I'm guessing it's these M24 T5 screws. We're just gonna do our corners first, and we're not gonna screw everything down all the way. Once we've got our 4 corners, then I'll take it down and then I'll put in the rest of the screws. One kind of minor annoying thing, these are labeled as T5s, which is great. I didn't realize that. Use a T5, so you're not gonna use a little Phillips head. So it's kind of annoying that they don't actually send you a little like Allen wrench or something for this keyboard. It's all screwed in. Oh, that's so satisfying. You can like adjust these to adjust the tension, like right there. That's super cool. And then that locks it in. I don't know why. It's so cool. Now we put keycaps on, and hope that I did it right and it turns on. Actually, we should try to test that before. Is there on-off switch somewhere too? Giant on-off switch on the bottom, so you have to look at that. Yeah, okay, she's working. Hell yeah, just took a little bit of time to warm up and boot up, but she is working away. So let me put some keycaps on here, and we'll do a typing test. Okay, we put all our keycaps on. I will say, the typeface is a little hard to read sometimes. Some of the letters look uppercase, and then some of them look lowercase. Luckily, some of the lowercase installed it perfectly, so it wasn't too hard. And I've got a laptop here to check if I ever was confused. Ooh, the bump is very minuscule on home row indicator, and I kind of like that. It's there, and so you can feel it. But my only gripe, just putting my fingers down on this thing, is the spacebar feels a little too low compared to the rest of the like wrist rest here. But I'm not sure how I feel about it until I type on. So let's check it out. As you can see, we tested it. Everything working. All our keys are good to go. It is wireless. It's got Bluetooth 2.4 GHz dongle that I've installed here and wired obviously as well, and it works for Mac and Windows. The battery is 5,000 milliamp hours. Not terrible. Obviously, there's RGB in this thing. Very hard to see with the current configuration to take that as well. Now let's do our typing test. Sounds satisfying. It's pretty good right out of the box. But let's try it. I do like this. 8593 is not terrible, but it's definitely not my best either. Yeah, there is. I'm not crazy about this dip here as much as the glass is beautiful. I love seeing everything in here. I would love, instead of having like a free-floating thumb, I'd like it if it was solid. I don't know, maybe type on more and get used to it. 112.97. It's still not my best, but you know, it's not bad. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. There's something missing. And I wonder if it's like the internals of this thing, because they're so complicated. I wonder if that's actually messing with the sound profile. I might go so far as to remove one of the layers of foam. Maybe the utmost bottom case foam, and maybe I'll make it, because it just seems a little too quiet, but I guess that's what a lot of people are looking for. Otherwise, like, visually striking, and easily, in terms of pure visuals, like probably the coolest keyboard I've ever built or looked at. I will say, now that it's assembled, how easy is it to like open? Yeah, I don't know, you're supposed to get this thing open once the keyboard's in there. Yeah, God, so close. Yeah. So okay, you can open and close it without the keycaps coming off, but like, that was not easy, and I don't know. It's so freaking cool. I think that if you want this because of what it is, that is perfectly fine, and I would not question that for a second. I don't know how much it costs. They're gonna tell me off camera, and I'm probably gonna be a little shocked because I'm guessing the whole thing is pretty expensive considering like the internal mechanisms and how much thought has gone into all of this. It is absolutely stunning, and I don't think there's a lot of prices that I wouldn't buy that. The Kickstarter's gonna be done before this video goes up, but it might be available on the website afterwards.
Interesting though.
$9.99
$1,000
for just the base. If you want the switch steps as well, it is $13.50.
That's American dollars. I think I was expecting like $500, maybe even like $600 or $700, but $1,000. I'm not saying that the artistry and craftsmanship isn't there. It really is. This is incredible. And even having to take off a couple keycaps now to like pull this up, that sucks, but it's super doable. You know, just pop this guy up. I can completely understand why a lot of you are still gonna buy this. I think it's very bespoke. I think that you can't find this anywhere else. And considering the labor into just the design, let alone constructing this thing, it's probably a fair price. I hate to say that because it's exorbitantly expensive, and I'm not gonna buy one at that price, but it's incredibly unique and one of a kind. Yeah. And you know who else is unique and one of a kind? This guy. JK. This is Short Circuit. This is the newer Clavier 2 K2. Beautiful piece of design. Can't recommend it unless you're just like really looking for that ultimate desk piece and you have a ton of expendable income. If you're looking at
Does Ukraine have anything to fear from Belarus?
Абсолютно ничего. Абсолютно. И они это знают. Что касается критики Зеленского, ну, может быть, это и переборщил, я вынужден был ответить. Если Владимир Александрович...
Does Ukraine have anything to fear from Belarus?
Абсолютно ничего. Абсолютно. И они это знают. Что касается критики Зеленского, ну, может быть, это и переборщил, я вынужден был ответить. Если Владимир Александрович обиделся, я извиняюсь перед ним за эти слова. Может, мне не надо было так резко говорить об этом. Поэтому надо быть аккуратнее и осторожнее. Тем более он прекрасно понимает, еще раз подчеркиваю, что со стороны Беларуси, и особенно с моей стороны, каких-то военных действий ждать не стоит.
Things are not looking so good for us right now amidst the Ukraine war, and it feels like
Пошли.
Со стороны Беларуси, и особенно с моей стороны, каких-то военных действий ждать не стоит.
things are not looking so good for us right now amidst the Ukraine war, and it feels like a lot of Russia's allies are trying to leave the sinking ship. Ukraine's drone warfare is absolutely cooking Russia right now. Occupied Crimea, for example, has been completely cut off and has no gasoline. And as I'm recording this video right now, Russia has once again had a massive attack on Moscow by Ukrainian drones that is just unprecedented in scale. And while Putin is too
Oh fuck. Oh no, VPN. Oh my VPN. Raise up. Yeah, luckily this video is already sent, so I don't have to worry about it. Another update. I just updated this today. God damn it. Get out.
stubborn realize this completely is over and maybe it's time to put a stop to all of this. One of Putin's biggest allies, the dictator of Belarus, Lukashenko, already realizes what's going on. He's already switching up his rhetoric on Russia and Ukraine. And while at the start of this local special military operation, Belarus actually provided its territory for the Russian forces to attack Ukraine. And while back then Lukashenko was saying that Ukraine should surrender and that Russia is going to win, things are now changing because in a recent interview, Lukashenko just apologized to Zelensky, made a point to say that Belarus poses no threat to Ukraine and also pretty much asked Ukraine to not bomb Belarus. And as Russia, I know that Lukashenko has always tried to create an image of a strong Sigma-based leader, just like Vladimir Putin. I'm pretty much seeing Lukashenko act this way for the first time ever, and it clearly shows that things are shifting. So here people are running a fairly good Russian in this video. We're going to talk about whether the president Lukashenko is about to betray Vladimir Putin, because at this point even he realizes that Russia is in way too deep. By the way, sponsors are like, now the relationship of Belarus and Russia has always been very special. Together, Belarus and Russia actually formed something that's called the Union States, which is almost a confederation that has the goal of integrating the two countries in economic and military policy. This Union State was actually created even before Vladimir Putin ever came into power by Lukashenko and the Russian President Yeltsin, because Lukashenko has actually been in power for way longer than Vladimir Putin. The current president of Belarus came to power in the year 1994, while Vladimir Putin only came to power in 1999. So out of the two, Lukashenko was the real Giga Chad dictator of the post-Soviet Union. Throughout the years, the relationship between Putin and Lukashenko has always stayed very close, but also kind of strange at the same time. While Russia and Belarus have always been allies, throughout the years, especially in the 2000s, Lukashenko was kind of playing both sides, more or less, was trying to be friendly with both Russia and the European Union. In a sense, kind of like the infamous ousted presidents of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych. Even though Lukashenko did sometimes overfarm and make statements against Russia, at the end of the day, he can never escape from Russia's grasp. Because once again, Lukashenko is a dictator just like Vladimir Putin. They need each other for this kind of feeling of stability. Because dictators usually love and support each other, you know what I mean? But also at the same time, they do have kind of a weird relationship where even though Putin is more powerful than Lukashenko, in a way Lukashenko is kind of Putin's older brother. Because he has been a dictator for a longer period, and he's even better at it. Lukashenko put him out over the years a million times. And it's like a million videos of awkward moments between the two. Give example, a video from 2025.
Украина сегодня бегом должна просить Владимира Владимировича, давайте сядем за стол переговоров, давайте договоримся. В противном случае, через несколько там месяц, полтора-два, не знаю, потому что даже оборонительное сооружение не останется. Россияне все это потихонечку отгрызут, захватят и пойдут дальше.
Such a great clip. It definitely did not age well. But in this one, for example, Lukashenko was talking about Ukraine, what's happening in the Ukraine war, and Lukashenko at this point was once again saying that Ukraine needs to give up. So he's being pro-Russia, but at the same time, he said Russians are going to take away and kind of steal Ukrainian territory, which did trigger Vladimir Putin.
Россияне все это потихонечку отгрызут, захватят и пойдут дальше.
I just love Lukashenko's reaction, bro. Like, he's like, alright, bro, yeah, you'll return it, sure, whatever you say, dog. And that's the thing about Lukashenko as well. Until one point, as a Russian, I did not know too much about what's happening inside of Belarus. And for a lot of people in the post-Soviet Union who know Russian, Lukashenko has always been kind of a meme, because the way he speaks is very funny. He's like a village guy, you know what I mean? He kind of just speaks like your grandfather who's taking out of his dacha, you know, had a few drinks. He just has that wholesome grandpa energy, okay? That is, of course, if you don't know what he does. Like, just for example, the video from 2020 when COVID was going around, and Belarus was actually one of the only countries in the world that pretty much denied COVID and did not introduce any restrictions whatsoever. Even at a point when Russia already did it.
Здесь нет вирусов никаких. Вот ты же не заметила, что они летают? И я тоже не вижу. Это холодильник. Это самое лучшее здоровье. Лучше, чем спорт, особенно лед, холодильник это антивирусное лекарство, самое настоящее.
So yeah, again, it's literally some shit that your Soviet grandpa would say about COVID, you know? Well, who cares about virus? Just grab a vodka shot, some potato, you know, you're gonna be all good. No virus flying around here. I don't see any. So yeah, Lukashenko is funny and charismatic, but also, under all this charisma, Laura actually has a very bloody dictator. Over the years, Lukashenko has murdered or jailed, you know, pretty much all of his critics. Belarus is pretty much kind of like Russia-like in a sense, because it's also a dictatorship, they also don't have fair elections, they also don't have freedom of speech, but at the same time right now, Belarus is ironically more free than Russia. Because in Belarus, the internet actually works. There's no internet shutdowns, and you don't have to use a VPN to access Western social media like you have to do in Russia right now. But yeah, as a Russian, I feel like I've been exposed to Belarus the most in 2020, when Belarus was having its revolution moments, which did not, you know, work. There were massive protests happening all over Belarus, which was something that was completely unprecedented. The whole reason was that it was a presidential election, which was notoriously fraudulent, to be organized to kind of counter votes. And pretty much nobody believed that Lukashenko actually won. Everybody thought that the opposition candidate Svetlana Tikhanovskaya actually was the winner, but you know, she had to leave the country. Her husband and the people who worked in the team all went to prison and so on. And Belarus was cracking down very heavily on the people who participated in the protest. A lot of Belarusians left the country out of fear of persecution. Of course, a lot of these people actually in Georgia, for example. And back in 2020, actually, a lot of people in Russia supported these protests against Lukashenko. Russian YouTubers and influencers were like making videos in support of the protesters in Belarus. The overall stake within the Russian people was kind of like, look at this, Belarus is actually processed, so it shows that we can do the same. We can also try to overthrow our leader, our dictator, right? But once again, unfortunately, not all revolutions actually work, and not all protests actually succeed. So it's actually not that simple. And, this is for people in the comments who say, just go overthrow Putin, bro. It's not easy to even overthrow Putin light, okay? I know it's nice to live in La La Land where protests always succeed, but that's actually not the case. And pretty much ever since then, Lukashenko's legitimacy as a president has been questioned by Europe and the West. And Lukashenko became more hostile towards them. And in 2022, at the start of Russia's war against Ukraine, Belarus actually did help out Russia in starting its invasion. The Russian army performed military drills on Belarusian soil, and also the territory of Belarus was used by Russian armies to attack Kiev. And Lukashenko was pretty much spreading pro-Russian talking points and saying that Ukraine needs to give up because Russia is about to take over anyway. But now in 2026, 4 years later, with all the recent developments and Ukrainian drone warfare cooking Russia, Lukashenko was changing his tune because, for example, Ukraine's drone commander warned Lukashenko about 500 potential targets in Belarus. And Ukraine warned Belarus that it was going to be any aggressive actions against Ukraine from Belarus. And then Ukraine is pretty much going to start drone striking Belarusian infrastructure. And it seems like after this, Lukashenko didn't realize what's actually going on and it's scared and shitless. And in recent interviews to Al Arabiya English, Lukashenko said some things that would never heard him say before, and he backtracked a lot. He admitted that Belarus is pretty much defenseless against Ukraine, and he said that he does not want any smoke.
Belarus has found itself in the media a lot these past few weeks, primarily because Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned that Russia is planning to launch a new offensive on Ukraine from Belarus. Has President Putin raised this prospect with you? Is he pushing to open a new front from Belarus?
Yes, we discussed the issue with Putin, but not in the way the mass media discussed it. We often spoke with President Putin about the fact that it is inadmissible to warn Ukraine to spill over into Belarus. First and foremost, Belarus, we do not want to enter the war. Belarus is vulnerable from a military point of view. If Ukraine starts attacking Belarus as it attacks Russia, because from this perspective of Ukrainian armed forces, Belarus is within immediate reach. And we understand that all of our logistics and production facilities could come under attack. And by the way, Ukraine has stated that it already has 500 targets in the territory of Belarus. Belarusians do not want war because Belarusians suffered greatly in previous wars. Many civilians were killed.
So yes, it's like pretty unprecedented actually. Once again, this post-Soviet strongman dictator. That's the image he wants to create. It's not really looking, very Sigma or base. They're actually not completely defenseless against a foreign country, in this case Ukraine. But he's straight up admitting, he's saying yes, we do not want anything to do with Ukraine in this war now because we simply just cannot do anything to fight back. And again, it's pretty crazy to see a person like Lukashenko actually admit something like this. It's almost like he's looking for pity from Zelensky or something. Type situation.
And thirdly, if Russia were to attack Kiev.
Looking for pity from Zelensky or something. Type situation.
And thirdly, if Russia were to attack Kiev from the territory of Belarus,
which there already is, well, like Brad.
then the front line for Russia and consequently for Belarus would expand like 1,500 kilometers along the Belarusian-Russian and the Belarusian-Ukrainian borders. We cannot protect this part of the border, especially if NATO armed forces, NATO troops, and the countries that support Ukraine were to deploy their troops on Ukrainian territory.
It's amazing. I mean, he's not just admitting Belarus's weakness in front of Ukraine right now, and the fact that they cannot defend themselves, but also at the same time he's admitting that Russia cannot even provide Belarus with the security. He's basically saying that Russia also cannot defend Belarus, which is incredible. I'm sure Vladimir Putin is, he's probably very pissed at this somewhere right now in his bunker. But this is what we have come to 4 years into the war. Incredible.
Does Ukraine have anything to fear from Belarus?
Of course not. Nothing is threatening them, and they know that. The military know that.
Do they? I mean, I guess I don't know, Brad.
And the civilians know that as well. But for certain political ambitions, the issue has been kept alive.
Do you...
The T code, bro. Anyway, this is also pretty important in this interview. Throughout this whole thing, Lukashenko repeatedly do they? I mean, I guess I don't know, Brad.
And the civilians know that as well. But for certain political ambitions, the issue has been kept alive.
Do you...
The T code, bro. Anyway, this is also pretty important in this interview. Throughout this whole thing, Lukashenko repeatedly keeps saying that Belarus poses no threat to Ukraine, that Ukraine knows this, and he repeats it over and over and over here. Because he once again basically wants to say, look guys, I don't want any smoke, okay? I get it. You guys have drones and all this stuff. I'm good, okay? I just want to be a dictator. I just want to sit on my throne until I die. Don't touch me, please. Vladimir Putin, let him do his own thing. Just don't touch me.
At the start of the conflict, you predicted a swift victory from Russia, and you were very critical of President Zelensky. You called him a scumbag. But recently you've invited him to a face-to-face meeting to discuss your differences. Do you think you can be a mediating force? And is your desire or your invitation to meet President Zelensky perhaps an acknowledgement that Belarus does see that Ukraine has been successful, or more successful than a lot of countries gave them credit for?
Well, let us start from the beginning. You have mentioned 4 or 5 points that I should respond to. First of all, at the beginning of the conflict, and judging by what was happening on the battlefield, not only I, but the whole of the world understood that the war was likely to end quickly with a victory for the Russian Federation. That assessment was connected to the fact that the Russian forces were already near Kiev at the time. They had advanced towards Kiev, especially the forces that entered from the north.
I mean, you can go watch the interview yourself. I watched this inside section already. It essentially just seems like cold to me because he's trying to kind of shift blame a little bit. I guess say that he never actually said that. He's basically saying, he's saying at the start of the war that Ukraine should, give up and that Russia is going to win was not actually, being pro-Russian. It was actually being rational. I was just looking at, facts on the ground, what's going on. And only then I saw, once again, that Ukraine can actually fight back and they got all the support from the West, right? And then, things have changed and now I understand it's not so easy, whatever, not so simple. It's unfathomable cope and it just feels like, once again, he's trying to save face, he's trying to almost pretend like he was never pro-Russian. And basically the whole interview, the angle that he takes is that he backtracks in his statements and he's pretty much all the time talking about, peace, how peace is super important, how Belarus is only interested in providing peace and helping to mediate peace, even though once again his country has already participated in the war. And Lukashenko basically just wants to stay on his throne and also appear in front of his own people from Belarus as a kind of a peacekeeper, somebody who's interested in peace, somebody who does not want war. And even though he pretty much said pro-Russian things throughout this entire war until very recently, right? Not wants to pretend like he was never actually pro-Russian, he was just neutral, that he never took sides of this war, I guess, and that, again, he was simply just looking at the facts on the ground, what's going on, and just being rational. There's even like a section in this interview which basically says like, I can admit that Ukrainians are defending themselves really good, but Russians have also been, pretty effective at, their warfare. Yes, Russia's suffering right now, there's these strikes, but also at the same time Russia is pushing like a front line forward, whatever. So he's basically like, okay, both of you guys are doing well, you guys are doing well, and you guys are doing well.
And I will speak frankly, Ukrainians are sometimes quite effective in defense, but they're not as effective as the Russians. I'm sorry, but I just have 2 more points to make.
Again, like he's trying to play this kind of both sides, game, pretend like it was never on Russia's side, but like it's not really selling well, bro. Like it might be too late at this point to say all this. Now, the interesting thing is that while we're editing this video, actually some new information came out, and Zelensky actually responded to Lukashenko in this interview, and it turns out that things might be even more close for the Belarusian dictator than originally thought. Zelensky basically said that Belarus is still in Russia right now as we're speaking, and also said that Belarus has relay stations that it's using to help Russia. And Zelensky basically gave Lukashenko a week to stop using these relay stations to help Russia, or Ukraine will take care of it. So he also pointed out that Belarus is actually using its oil refineries to also send oil and help the Russian war machine, right? So Lukashenko might be kind of and I don't know when this video will come out exactly, but it's basically it looks like Lukashenko's tactic of pretending like he never did anything, never participated in this war is not quite working out. So the part that is going the most viral right now is that Lukashenko has essentially apologized to Zelensky.
Let's talk about my remarks regarding Zelensky. Perhaps I was a little harsh in my words, but they were a response to his statements where he said we have 500 targets inside Belarus. We know where Lukashenko is. Tomorrow we are going to attack them using drones or missiles. I was quiet. I was silent. Everyone was surprised. Why am I silent? I understood. Well, the person's under pressure. He's young. He's inexperienced. He's not a military man. Maybe he didn't understand something. But when I was threatened, I had to respond to that threat. If he still holds some resentment over my words, well, I'm sorry. Perhaps I should not have been so harsh. But he has to understand from my side, from the territory of the Republic of Belarus, military actions are not going to take place.
So yes, once again, this man was saying that Ukraine needs to give up, just very recently. Now he's apologizing in front of Zelensky and saying like he understands the way he feels, like he understands his position or whatever. If he pretty much just says it, he's like, I was threatened personally, my dictatorship for 30 years now, me being in power for 30 years has been threatened. I realize I can get fucked, okay? And now I changed my tune and I'm like, I'm very sorry, Mr. Zelensky, I will never do it again. And also, I would once again try to remind you, Mr. Zelensky, that Belarus poses no threats to Ukraine. We are not going to do anything. Please leave us alone, you guys, and let's just try to forget our differences, okay? I'm good now. I'm no longer you guys. It's pathetic. We have this saying in Russian. You're acting like a snake that's on frying pan being fried, just moving around trying to weasel your way out of a situation. You know what I mean? But then, once again, it's very obvious to anybody that Lukashenko only cares about keeping his throne. It's actually funny because it reminds me a lot of something Vladimir Putin has said recently too. Because even Putin's rhetoric towards Zelensky and how he talks about him has changed.
Еще раз обращаюсь к военнослужащим вооруженных сил Украины. Берите власть в свои руки. Похоже, нам с вами будет легче договориться, чем с этой шайкой наркоманов и неонацистов, которые...
Has changed.
Еще раз обращаюсь к военнослужащим вооруженных сил Украины. Берите власть в свои руки. Похоже, нам с вами будет легче договориться, чем с этой шайкой наркоманов и неонацистов, которая засела Киев.
Украинская страна, господин Зеленский, готов провести эту встречу.
It's amazing. At the start of the war, Vladimir Putin did not even refer to Zelensky by his name. He's not, just like Alexei Navalny, for example, the Russian Kremlin critic. When he was alive, Vladimir Putin never said his name because I guess, he didn't want to bring any publicity or popularity to him or whatever. And yes, at the start of the war, Vladimir Putin was describing Zelensky and the entire Ukrainian government as a gang of drug addicts and neo-Nazis. And now, in 2026, Vladimir Putin is referring to Zelensky as Mr. Zelensky, Господин Zelensky. A lot of respect suddenly from out of nowhere. And it's actually kind of funny because even here, the statement that Lukashenko was apologizing to Zelensky for was at a meeting of the Eurasian Economic Council in Kazakhstan on the 29th of May. Lukashenko said this about Zelensky. Something might have happened. He might have smoked something a little bit, and whatever happened afterwards, he started making all these statements. So essentially, Lukashenko was also calling Zelensky a drug addict. It's like a pretty popular trope in Russian propaganda right now. They like to say that Zelensky is like always on cocaine or codrugs or whatever, he's not right in the head. So what's happening is exactly the same. Vladimir Putin used to call Zelensky a drug addict, neo-Nazi, and now he's calling him Mr. Zelensky. Lukashenko used to say that Zelensky is a drug addict who's no smoking on that Tsar and losing his mind or whatever. And now he's apologizing to him and calling him again Mr. Zelensky. It's really quite incredible, isn't it? I mean, to me, it really just kind of shows the psychology that these dictators have. They really just have the mindset of the average Russian government. Vladimir Putin talks a lot about how he grew up on the rough streets of Leningrad and how he learned that when there's a conflict, you have to attack first because that's what the streets taught him,
Еще 50 лет назад Ленинградская улица ни одного еще одному правил. Если драка неизбежна, пить надо делать.
So Lukashenko putting, they pretty much according to this rule of, the Russian prison world, pretty much. And the thing about these kinds of godly people, right, is that they have absolutely zero respect for anybody. They'll come up to you, they'll try to, bully you, start shit with you, maybe even rob you or something, right? Because they think that you're weaker than that. But they live all according to these rules of the jungle, might is right type of thing. And really the only way to humble a gopnik and make him respect you is to, punch him in the face. When a gopnik gets punched in the face, he gets humbled. So he actually realizes that the other person is not, a pussy or whatever, and that he can fight back, and that, they do actually have some power. And usually suddenly when they get punched in the face, they start acting way more respectful towards you, and now they want to insult, not fight. And that's pretty much the exact same thing that we see here with Putin and Lukashenko. They thought Ukraine was weak, they thought Zelensky was weak, that we could bully him, call him a drug addict, Nazi, whatever. Now that he's actually fighting back and actually succeeding at it, so the responsibility is to, try to lower the tensions and be like, okay, sir, okay, Mr. Zelensky, we actually respect you, we get it now. Let's try to sort this out, okay? Now we understand that we were wrong. That's how they operate, literally. Even Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, for example, the leader of the Belarusian opposition in exile, who participated in that exact unfortunate election in Belarus in 2020, she also talked about this. She tweeted, first Lukashenko called Ukraine to surrender, and now he's apologizing to President Zelensky. This is what Ukraine's strength has done. They exposed the weakness of the dictatorship built on lies, fear, independence, and Putin's no-stage apology can erase simplicity and aggression. Yeah, I guess that's the only way you can really reason with people like Putin and Lukashenko. They do not understand normal human language, they do not want to respect other people's rights unless you punch them in the face. So yeah, guys, what can I say? Incredible things are happening. Our beloved dictators of Russia and Belarus are saying things that we never thought we'd hear from them. And once again, I think it really shows that the tide is shifts. And it's obvious that Lukashenko is scared shitless right now, losing his throne and losing, his dictatorship that he's been doing since the year 1994 because of this war that Putin starts. And the only thing I can really say is, pack watch, rip bozo, we are not going to miss. Well, maybe a little, because this is probably, the last Soviet grandpa Dadachev type of president that Belarus is going to have. Anyways, people, I guess that's going to be pretty much it for today's video, though. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to slap a like. Yeah, people, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
You may have noticed a huge change with the background of this video. One of the lamps died, and now I basically feel like I'm in the phasmophobia level. I don't like that dark hallway, man. That's scary. I really don't like that. You got Clark just walk out, but he comes around the corner. Everyone knows, by the way, in the back rooms. Of this video, one of the lamps died, and now I basically feel like I'm in the middle of the phasmophobia level. I don't like that dark hallway, man. That's scary. I really don't like that. You got Clark just walk out, but he comes around the corner. Everyone knows, by the way, in the back rooms, when he knocked out the therapist, it was basically the opening of the Comedy Shorts game animated intro. Now it seems that fans of KSI, I can't, man, on the viewfinder. This is worse than that critical video where it was like cropped off 50%. So I talked quite a lot about KSI and the sidemen and how KSI left the sidemen. The sidemen weren't very happy, and the fans as well were really disappointed. I mean, when I covered this originally, I thought this was like a massive bit. It was employed for like engagement or attention because everything's a clip farm. But about 3 weeks ago now, KSI did abruptly leave his group. But in that video, he specifically said he wanted to spend more time with his family and with himself. So it sounded like he wanted to go into a semi-retirement because the guy's done a lot. Slowly but surely though, it really started to unravel. You could tell from the vague posting from the other sidemen and how they didn't like certain tweets or interact with certain posts. There was definitely a lot of tension there. But a lot of people were thinking, if KSI is leaving, what kind of content would he actually make on his own? Because surely he's not fully retiring, right? I mean, even PewDiePie, he has a wife, a child, and he still sticks his head out of the sand every couple of months to make a sponsored video showing a VPN. Now, as we know, KSI has a very, very large ego. He has gone through insane character arcs. Like, for example, when Comedy Shorts Gamer, his brother, Deji, had a falling out with him. The infamous video where he's just roasting him relentlessly. Now, when you guys know that this is one of the best crash outs of the past 10 years, yeah, that camera angle for the reaction, that's great. I'll just keep that.
You idiot. You honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you. But your ego's pissing me off. You think you're the shit. You think you're so high and mighty. I mean, you're literally comparing yourself to a god. Whereas you're far from it.
Like, from the camera angle, it just looks like he's roasting some dwarf or something. So obviously, all this character building, especially with the boxing matches and teaming up with Logan Paul, not to set aside the differences, but for many, that creator is quite the monster that is now KSI. His ego is unrivaled. He actually spoke on a podcast saying that he plans to overtake the sidemen, his own friends, in views and subscribers.
I told the boys that I'm going to overtake them in views and subs eventually.
Oh, you're outperforming the sidemen.
I'm outperforming the sidemen, yeah. Oh, no, we don't get
I'm turning the sidemen into the sidemen.
What?
Now, I would say KSI is absolutely a business mind. He is an intellectual genius, making moves that no one would think about. Like, for example, he went hooked to a podcast with Haley Welch. No one fucking talks about this, by the way, because it went way under the radar. I feel like I'm the only person that talks about this.
Hot minutes since we've been back here, but now we're
Hot minute?
official honor to do it.
Hot minute?
Out of London to get a very special guest for you.
Who's it? Who's it?
KSI.
Yo, yo.
Oh my god!
Thank you, man.
I just did the prom. Yes, product placement. My manager tells me if I put a product and it's texting me, I was like, that makes people buy more. Oh my god, I'm so smart. And KSI's ego was still unmatched, saying at some points that he wanted to overtake iShowSpeed and Mr. Beast.
I'm trying to compete with Mr. Beast. He gets about 4 billion every month, short, 500 million long. I mentioned the Cyber Boys, I'm going to get more subscribers than Cyber, and I'm also going to get more views. I've got more views than I'm going to
You get more views than the group that you're the most popular member of. Wow, that's very, very good, JJ, very good.
And then it's like, I'm going to speed. I need to try and get more views than Speed, and I need to get more.
How are you going to overtake iShowSpeed? You're basically iShow, I'm like 33. I know it's over for me, I'm 29, but like, my god, man, what?
Yeah, and then after Speed, I use it until I get to
You want to go after the Elon Musk of YouTube. How does that make any sense whatsoever? Look, Mr. Beast does not have the best personality. Wait a minute, he could have taken Mr. Beast. Wait, then cook. Now, when a lot of these clips are going around, because in the video, his leaving video, it's very sad. He's sincere. He's saying, I want to spend more time with, my girlfriends, my family, and time to myself. But it almost seems he's still a complete 180 now. He's like, I want to be iShowSpeed. Who's still waiting to this day to creep on his dad in the face? That needs different words to be used for that sentence. A lot of fans, again, weren't happy with this, even going as far as using Homelander reaction images, even after the boys ended. I do think a lot of people are reading too deep into it as well, because for years KSI has been renowned to be an amazing laugher. I mean, I still remember when he made that song, was it Think of It or something like that, and it was such a mid-song, but he basically made himself the bad guy on purpose on Twitter for like, I think a couple of weeks or something, going after YouTubers like Dan TDM and just beefing with people, solely to give drive and attention to songs. It's very obvious. The manager says the song is kind of shit, it's flopping, so if you cause a bit of controversy, more people talk about it, Again, it's like YouTubers, they understand basic psychology, and they just think they're like Johan from Monster or something. So if he wants to overtake iShowSpeed, and he wants to overtake Mr. Beast, what kind of content can JJ make? Short form content! Because as we know, if you want to grow in this disgusting era of the internet we're in now, unless you've got the old head audience, to get new gens in, you need to do shorts. Watching a YouTube video? Oh, hell no. Oh, mate, honestly, if this video breaks like 300k views, 90% of you will have me as your fucking second minute content or probably to sleep to. I remember screaming in one video and someone made a complaint about it because it woke them up. That's how bad it's gone now. But again, I said this time and time again, you want to grow, it's shorts. It's always shorts. In the past 3 years, pretty much every single big person on the internet, it was shorts. iShowSpeed, Queso, Jinxie, it was people clipping him because they got money off it. And now clipping is just a huge industry. I mean, I've seen people that they run like clipping empires, which is a very, very nice way of saying that you pay like Bulgarian children $3 a year to clip like 20,000 bits of clavicular being rejected by women. So since leaving, he's uploaded a bunch of absolutely brain dead shorts. Like for example, a Make Me Laugh challenge where he set up a table and a microphone and had strangers come up to try and make him laugh for €100.
Try and make me laugh.
Why shouldn't you fundraise for marathons? They just take the money and run.
Now, even though this is hilarious laugh out loud content that you'll enjoy scrolling through in the morning and then forget 5 seconds later, a lot of diehard fans in the comments, they're really not happy, and they're basically saying this is what you left the sidemen for, like building up this friendship for well over a decade to just do a bunch of like relatable content. Like for example, this gentleman here making a comment saying that he wants to mass boycott KSI. Also, I'm not sure why. When I had this open, I had it on dark mode, so all the colours are inverted in his head's on white stuff. He looks like that guy that PewDiePie was reacting to for a video that really pissed him off like 8 years ago. I do not know why I remember this.
Soy boy, is this?
Oh my god! They actually just keep donating.
What the hell does this mean? Stop. Oh my god, same, my dad. Literally same.
Oh my god, literally same.
Jesus Christ. Let's die together. This is the end of the PewDiePie channel.
That's TV for this one. So KSI realised, wait a minute, I'm getting paid. What do I do now? Let me call up Mr. Beast.
I'm Mr. Beast.
Where he asks Jimmy how many subscribers he has, and then he gets absolutely mugged.
Hey, yo, Jimmy.
Oh, how's it going?
How many subscribers you want?
Did you say $500 million? How are you?
Half a billion.
Yes, that's how many subs you got?
8.4 million.
You'll get it, just to get it. How much is the bill? £83. Thank you.
I'm going to get there.
Again, it really is just a kind of like going through the motions here. Let me hear every popular contact I have. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Dwayne Johnson in a week or something. He's going to be promoting his tequila, his energy drink in the background, and KSI's going to have his little prime cans everywhere. He then uploaded this shorts on his 33rd birthday, which is a comment saying, still no wife and kids. And you also may remember there was a video posted a couple of weeks ago where he was going around with a bunch of KSI lookalikes. This is the final product. They go into a grocery store looking for Prime.
Hey, guys, are you ready? Yeah! Let's fight some Prime!
Now, KSI is a bit of a predicament because when Prime came out, most of the people that bought it were 7 years old. They're now 10-year-olds and they're very smart. So they started making comments basically saying anything we're spending time with your family. Because again, like Prime is pretty much everywhere. It's in most like convenience stores, but the hype for it, it's gone. It was never able to sustain itself. So the Backrooms, again, like I'm recording in the Backrooms right now. That bit where Clark is in the Backrooms in the second half of the film where he loses his mind and he says, now the Backrooms film, created by K-Pixels, who by the way is no longer 20 years old, he is 9 plus 10. But because of that success, what did it bring? Very bad things like Google.com, and they're now investing $75 million into A24 as part of an AI research partnership. Now this started off because Backrooms basically became A24's most highest grossing film of all time. It made $300 million in the box office. The thing is, I always remember A24 is a company that makes films when nothing happens, which I'm going to stand by the way. But A24 can be pretty devious. They put out a lot more films and shows that people know about, mostly because they have a model where they only really show like the 2 or 3 films that are like critically acclaimed. They might have the highest budget, but they do also churn out a lot of slop that they're very quick to hide to make sure that brand of like, oh my god, the A24 logo, it's so cool, like doesn't actually get sullied at all. Right? I'm not looking at Hazbin Hotel here, okay? This is a very good example of a video I'm trying to make about A24 here. So the reason why I pulled up Vox, not from Hazbin Hotel, was to show that A24 really do put out a lot of films. Like you only hear about 2 films from them a year, but they really do. I mean, they basically put out more than Searchlight, Paramount, Focus Features, Neon.
2022, the studio put out 20 films. That's 2 more than Paramount. A studio that's way larger than they are.
They have a unique way of hiding about them. They make them go away.
So most of the A24 films, they probably think, wait a minute, could this ruin our image? Something happened in this film. They usually just shelve it on like Apple TV or something because they have a deal with them because they want to keep that really good reputation they've got. When you think of A24, you think of Hereditary. You don't think of Revenge of the Green Dragon, which apparently stars Ray Liotta. What? I'm looking at the Wikipedia. It had $5 million and it made 100k. Oh my flopper, how do you flop that bad? Now the biggest problem here is K-Pixels, who's 21 years old now, by the way. He's spoken pretty openly about his refusal to embrace AI in the filmmaking process. He had like an interview and he sees art as a way of processing life, and he doesn't see any value of outsourcing any of that to AI. And he also said that if he like snaps his fingers and make generative AI disappear forever, he definitely would. So despite his film becoming the highest grossing in the studio's history, they then decided to think, wait a minute, we don't need K-Pixels who's 21. I could just type in prompts, so I could do the film for him. So this partnership will apparently give A24 access to Google's DeepMind research infrastructure, and they'll do it to build new workflows, which is a very nice way of saying, oh, whoops, you're fired because I've got AI to do the job for you. Now, an A24 partner did tell the Wall Street Journal that they are not interested in making films cheaper and faster, despite the fact the example I just made earlier, that they put out more films per year than a lot of studios, but apparently they're using this for AI-generated storyboards, like the one, Martin Scorsese was promoting a while back, which again is a complete slop. You do know that like storyboarding is an actual job, right? Like, that's a thing. That's an industry that basically killing any human involvement with prompts. The Asmongold situation is disturbing, horrific, sad, cringe. I don't know. I'm just going to see if I can run the ABC test and get like a 4 out of 10 on YouTube Studios by using his name again. But on his stream, Asmongold said a very brave statement. He said that even if he could, he would not be interested in trying to hook up with different girls every single week. That's because he's more interested in video games than sex.
Like even if I could, I wouldn't be trying to hook up with different girls every single week. I just feel like doing that is it's like I'm more interested in video games than sex. If you want me to be honest, I just am. I really like video games. Now, for most communities, this becomes an absolute shock. This Chad gets no riz, but thankfully this is a parasitical fan base. Most of the riz that you get is on VR chat. Now, he did say that girls are nice, whatever that means, but he says he prefers video games and thinks women would play into his video game time. And so like I mean, girls are nice, sure, but like I really like video games. That's my favorite thing to do. And so anyway, cuts into gaming time. It can. Would you raise an eagle? No, I don't think I'd be able to do a good enough job. And so I think it'd be responsible for me to do that. Personally, that's where I'm at. No, I can't go on a date. I've got a raid. I've got a raid going on with the boys. And then during the stream, one of Asmongold's chat suggested that he should invest in a wife and kids because of his age, and he was given this piece of advice in return. It's not a big deal, right? Why don't you invest in a kid and wife? Shut the fuck up. Wait a minute, guys. Boys, this could be a coming out. Asmongold, wait a minute. I stand with my ally. Invest in a kid and wife. Shut the fuck up. Why don't you shut the fuck up, all right? It's not a big deal, right? Why don't you invest in a kid and wife? No, so he touches his neck. He's like, ooh, I saw this femboy when I choke. No, something changed me.
I remember
We also
him
have
becoming a parent.
an outway political
I always felt bad for the child.
a speech from the Energy Secretary Chris Rice. And this poor guy, like, he was really struggling to introduce a story about Albert Einstein, you know, the guy from Oppenheimer. Not the my bum will kill people, that's Oppenheimer. It's the guy you see at the very end of the film. And Trump gave him these amazing words of encouragement.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So 141 years ago, Albert Einstein, 121 years ago. Albert Einstein published a paper.
Look how he was so nervous. He was so nervous.
Albert Einstein.
He was so, and you destroyed his confidence. You destroyed him. He's gonna go his wife or something now. What are you doing? I like how he's got the elephant in the room dressing. Like, why does he have that? Oh yeah, I forgot about the Epstein files actually. So, Polymarket, amazing website, very trusted, very loyal. So there's recently a Wall Street Journal that conducted an investigation and it's into Polymarket's paid promotions with influencers. Again, you've probably seen the amount of Instagram reels and, you know, it's like there'll be a clip of something that's funny and then the smile you have, it quickly fades and drops because you see a fucking gambling or betting or investment watermark at the bottom of the screen, just ruining the entire joke because you realise that you've been duped and they're just making money off the So Polymarket is like one of these companies that I think were promoting that stuff like Walmart's everywhere, and they reviewed over 1,100 videos that were promoting this prediction gambling platform, and they found that $1.9 million in bets in these videos that were being made promoting the website were fake bullshit. So in this video, they show all kinds of ads that Polymarket promotes on Instagram, Twitter, where you pay influencers to make fake bets. And they said that they analysed over 1,000 videos and pretty much all of them were fake. They showed an example of someone that was like pretending to bet on Trump as like an April Fool's joke where they put a clip of Trump saying the phrase, but this phrase was actually said like from a year prior, so he didn't say it was a fake bet.
This video, for example, this guy looks like he's spending $200 betting that Trump is going to say the words April Fools during the first week of April. Now, this market is supposed to close in April, but the data in the chart goes all the way through May. And then they show a video of Trump saying, yeah! That video is actually from March of last year. Anyone who made this bet in real life lost money.
He also showed the URL to a dummy website with these influencers to make their bets, showing some of the small differences that give away that this is an entirely fake website.
Take a look at this one. If you zoom in on the URL, you'll notice that the site isn't Polymarket, but POIYmarket.com. Influencers who have worked with Polymarket told us that the company gave them a password to access the website so they can create real-looking trades. They're supposed to film their videos and send them to Polymarket for review. And if the video isn't engaging enough or if it's obviously fake, they have to refilm it. But the mock-ups still aren't perfect.
These videos altogether have combined over 140 million views. And the article illustrates pretty easily how these ads promote fake bets and these lead to big losses on the platform. There's this influencer called George Maciara, and he appears to win $100,000 on Trump saying the word McDonald's. And this then led to 50 real accounts placing the exact same bet. And guess what? Every single one of them ended up losing. They said that George actually filmed the bet on a dummy website and used a month's-old clip of Trump saying McDonald's. And they said according to the 118 videos, the creators showed almost $900,000 in fake winnings. So if they were real, this would actually total to nearly $200,000 in just absolute losses. They reached out to Polymarket and the spokesperson said that the company was committed to maintaining accurate, fair, and transparent markets. And they said they're conducting a comprehensive audit of active promotional content. Words. Right, I'm just looking back to the Backrooms boys. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm never going to film a video from this perspective ever again.
There's 3 things we got wrong about the Seamless. 1, the user experience. Seamless works great with features like Quick Resume and HDMI CC. What we didn't expect is that the day 1 experience is a little rougher than we like. Valve has a great reputation for supporting their devices long-term and fixing issues, so that's not as big a deal as. Number 2, performance. It does do 4K 60, but that's usually upscaling from 720p with FSR set as low as ultra performance. At these settings, most games look pretty ugly for 2026, which is why you originally thought it was going to be $700 with a controller. But Valve backed us across the wallet and said, how about $1050 without a controller?
They just exposed some insane predatory bullshit when it comes to monetization and the cost of games. This is GTA 6, and we now have the prices of this game. So we've got Standard Edition and we've got the Ultimate Edition. And guess what? They're going to get away with it. If this was EA, if this was Ubisoft, if this was Blizzard, they would be annihilated. But Rockstar, they get away with it. Come with me, I've got to show you this. So this is a very swanky GTA 6 website. Now, as you scroll down, you get given the offer, the glorious offer of the Ultimate Edition. Now, this is the special $100 edition. Now, the standard game costs $79.99. This costs $100, and notably, it includes stuff which should just be in the base game. This is why it's predatory bullshit, right? And this is why really, this is the price of the game. They want to sell the game for $100. It's been rumored for a long time, but they're offering this $79 version that's kind of, you know, doesn't have all of the additional features. I mean, I keep saying this is predatory bullshit because it is, because this edition includes stuff like the ability to customize your character, like to customize cars. Right? I think you maybe have to do that still in the base game, but not to the full extent. It's just insane. These are things you expect a part of GTA experience. So you also get this, right? You get the vintage Vice City pack, which is a load of cosmetics. cosmetics and stuff if you pre-order, right? So looking at this is the big sell. This is what they want you to buy. This is the ultimate edition, and I'm kind of blocking it, but I think I can move there. So this edition, it's going to show you see what it says there, right? So you're going to get exclusive premium vehicles, weapons, apparel, and action around every corner. Now, it's got to be said as well, Rockstar have also confirmed that this is just a single player experience. So that insinuates very heavily that the multiplayer, the GTA Online experience, is going to be sold separately, be a completely different thing, and that you're just not going to get that with this, right? You're just going to get single player. That's not to say this is going to be a ton of content. I'm sure it will be. The big issue here is the fact that they're charging so much money and pulling features out of the game and then selling them back. This is insane to me because GTA is about customizing cars, customizing characters, right? If that's only the game, that's like, you know what, I'm trying to think of an example. This is playing like playing FIFA, but you don't have the ability to take throw-ins or corners unless you pay an extra $20. It's complete bullshit, right? I just don't understand. So this is one of the vehicles you get, right, which is Grotty Cheetah 95 edition. This is probably a really good car, probably a good start car. You know, there's a load of nice pictures. Obviously, it's a Ferrari. Looks really cool. Weapons as well. So Morgan revolvers. This is Hers version. This powerful revolver. It's classic from Vice City. You know, again, this is all, you know, $20 extra for this. Personalized variants, personalized sidearms. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Vice City style. Like, you know, there's tons of stuff they're trying to sell you here. Well, this is the next fucking game. It should be the next game. You know, it's crazy. Like, next game. So, you know, more style. Great. I think tattoos as well are only available if you buy this. So Jason Safe House vehicles. Okay, so motorbikes, kayak, mod kits. I just like, you know, I mean, it looks so different. Completely different style. Like this is like if this was Ubisoft, they would be annihilated. You would be absolutely annihilated for this. Everyone knows like the monument. Like this is why they're exposed to corporate greed. Because
Just wait to be on PC at this point.
We've got to be aware that this is bullshit. This is absolutely bullshit. It should not be selling features that are just integral to the game. So you got the hair salon, Sarah's unisex salon, signature salon styles, both Jason and Lucia, including facial hair, Jason and makeup nails. Lucia,
Neymar,
this is the ultimate edition. Great. You can customize your character by the ultimate edition. I mean, I think it was to be expected that this game was going to go for everything, right? It was going to go for the most expensive box set. It was going to go for expensive motorization. Absolutely everything. In fact, rumors were saying that when the pre-orders over for this, they're expecting $1 billion immediately. Pre-orders that will probably cover the development costs, although dev costs for this have been insane. So like I said, this is going to be the biggest game launch ever in history ever. Straight up, like nothing's going to come close to it. We still got to hold them accountable. We can't just sit here and go, great, take my money. I'm going to play GTA 6. You're going to play GTA. Oh fucking well, you're going to play GTA 6, right? Well, we can't just sit here and take it. Well, there we are. But we shouldn't just be like, what are we doing? It's mental. So okay, boats. Got the clothing store. So style varies, unique and exclusive to Jason and Lucia. Stock from Yes Elevate Streetwear. Only available if you buy the Super Duper edition. Stock 305. This is a different style. And it's the same place. We'll talk about the same shop. More pictures. Great. You're like walking up to the thing. You're like trying to get in. It's like, sorry, what's he going to say? Hey, $20. Insert shot. Pay $20. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen. You walk into the game. I bet it is. I absolutely bet it is. And the same for the car customization stuff. So you get the Factory Dominator booking. Electric Fang Tattoo, yeah, this is the tattoo stuff. So the tattoo,
The greatest game ever made, but also the most self-indulgent as well.
He looks good, right? But it's just like, what? Why will he mod shop? Like, how much stuff here? This is literally just pulled this out of the base game and I'm just going to charge extra for it. But like I said, guys, this is the base game price. There's no piss about it. This is the price of the game. A good time gear, capsule collection of apparel. Okay, oh, I see. It doesn't say only available in the ultimate edition, but I'm guessing it is. Because, well, this is the ultimate edition. Classic car collection. Yeah, and that's it. So I just want to play for IGN because they do actually highlight what Rockstar said. So they say it confirmed it features single player experience at launch. So I suppose one of the nice of Rockstar, that may indicate that GTA Online is coming down the line, right? It will just be added to the game, and if you own the game, you can still play it, so maybe it won't be sold separately. But of course, just like GTA Online is right now, it'll be stuck full of microtransactions that you would not believe. Also, it's got to be said, PlayStation have said the game will run better, and Rockstar said this plays best on PlayStation. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that's just marketing spiel or it's literally the case it doesn't. Probably wouldn't think it should do, especially on PS5 Pro if you're looking for God of those, because it's the fastest console, so you expect to run faster on that. I don't know what it's going to perform like on the Xbox, because it's only available on those. At launch, it's not available on PC, which is a shame because I would really like to play on PC. Okay, let's recap all this. Instead of just looking at me full face cam, we'll get on that. We look at some of these screenshots that they've launched, released with the announcement of pre-orders. And you know, the graphics obviously look really good. This game is going to be fantastically well made. It's going to be, you know, the pinnacle of what's possible on this generation of consoles. This is what GTA does. This is what Rockstar do. Look at Red Dead Redemption 2, an insanely well made game. Look at GTA 5. Look at the lifespan it's had. This is just going to be, it's going to be a game, right? It's going to be a really, really powerful, really strong game. But like I said, I don't think we can just sit here and be like, okay, this is great, this is fine, this is the way things are going, because this is going to sell well. This is then going to give ideas to every other publisher that they can do this. They only do the same way, right? You just get stripped out games, it's not anything, but it's just literally highlighting the sort of, you know, it is the corporate greed, but they can get away with it.
I'm a bit glad it's not even
because the caliber of the game is going to be that.
more
That's
expensive
not
than
a bad thing, right? They can get away with it, and it's a good product, so just do it. Just get away with it. You know, it's like, what? I don't know. But to me, though, guys, it looks really good, right? It's going to be a great game. We know it's going to be a great game. It just doesn't sit well with me the way they've priced the game. And I wasn't expecting it to be cheap. Don't get me wrong. I was not expecting it to be a cheap game at all. But I was hoping that they wouldn't restrict all features in the game. I can sort of understand if there was the base game which had all the features, and then there was an additional version. Let's still call it the ultimate version. They had like, you know, skins, clothing, character, weapon skins, you know, stuff like that. Maybe special tattoo even or something like that. That'd be fine. I still want to go to the tattoo shop. I haven't bought the stupidly expensive version of the game. I literally cannot walk in. I can't go to the mod shop. I can't change my clothes to a certain style. I literally can't go into these places. I can't change my hairstyle. I would say I can't go to the salon. So this is actually
never play on PC.
It's very expensive. This is going to be a game, and let me know if you play it. It's a stupid ass question because everybody's going to play this. And I'll leave video with that. But I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry if you find everything.
GTA 6 pre-orders go live tomorrow. Actually, it's like tonight, apparently at midnight, so I guess there's kind of midnight release. Not the one that I was looking for, specifically because this GTA 6 release is looking kind of rough when it comes to the physical game market, because there's not really going to be a physical or a traditional, I should say, physical version of the game when it releases in November. We got that alongside a slew of other details, which we'll really get into tomorrow morning in Newswave, 8 a.m. Eastern time. But there is one specific part I wanted to hone in on here, because while we are seeing a push to digital, this is something I think could really work to push things over the edge for the rest of the people trying to hold on, because it is such a massive release. But we'll go over that here today. So if you guys enjoy the video, like button, subscribe if you're new. Now, this is over on Rockstar's website. This just has the pre-order announcement again for Grand Theft Auto 6 on June 25th, midnight local time. So you can just start pre-ordering on the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Storefront. We get that all done. They have a few bonuses. I think like GTA Plus for a month is going to come with it if you pre-order it. There you go. That one. But if you scroll down here, we do have them saying GTA 6 is a single player experience coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, right? So there's a question about multiplayer. I think that's going to come later in the month. So we're going to launch GTA 6 online in January or something. A month later, I think they'll launch GTA Online in, I don't know, Christmas. I guess they could. I mean, it's an online game, so it's not going to distribute more in terms of storefronts or anything. They launch on Christmas Day for all they care, right? But here's the thing that I saw and I went, okay, that's interesting. Okay, players pre-order digital versions of Grand Theft Auto 6 will be able to begin preloading on November 12th to ensure they're able to play at launch on November 19th. This full version of Grand Theft Auto 6 contains a download code inside the box. Will be available starting November 12th to support reload. So there is no disc-based version of the game, at least on November 12th and November 19th. I just questioned about could they follow up maybe going into December or even starting out 2027 with a disc-based version of GTA 6. It is possible. They have issued different releases, a bunch of different games in Rockstar 2. At least for now, for the launch of GTA 6, it does appear that they will be going away of the original box. So really, this is a digital release. At least that's what I'm seeing. It's like no physical copy. I guess that's fine. Personally, for me, going out getting it as a code in the box doesn't make a lot of sense. This comes back to you have retail presence without having to issue a disc. They I think that is part of here with Rockstar 2. Every series out of the end, it's not cheating. It's more than $1 billion worth of lost. They're looking for $2 billion when they marketing and anything else added to that. So they don't want to deal with the game leaking out early for distribution, as this is probably the prime target for this game being out early on disc and then loading out just personal stuff ahead of time. They're also really litigious, so in a way this may save them money as well from the point of, oh, we have to spin up the lawyers to then go after anyone who happens to get early access to the thing or figure out how it leaks. And so that is part of this. But also I kind of think that Take-Two is realizing we're in a primarily digital era. When they look at the digital to physical split on PlayStation, it's 85% digital, 15% physical, just based on some reporting of Sony or I think there's Q4 for this report. So if you're seeing that as well, it's like, okay, is this something that even makes sense to this degree, or should I physical copy because that's where the action is? Like now back when GTA 5 released, it certainly was. The times are changing significantly. It's much different now. And the unfortunate part for me personally is that they're copying memories. So I mean, I guess they're kind of because the memories then would happen. When you November 12th, that's when the box is only start showing up on store shelves. So to me, that's I don't know, I think about Mac inside the case. I will say that probably some people would be interested in the boxing, even though there's no Blu-ray disc in there or Blu-ray discs, because Red Dead Redemption 2 or the PlayStation 4 2 discs in 2 Blu-rays, and that's because it was too big for Blu-ray for PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One singular. So I don't think it has to do with them saying, oh, it's larger than 100 gigabytes, so we need 2 Blu-rays. I mean, that still could. Again, in the future, it's more about avoiding any potential leaks out there, but still having at least a retail presence. And that's really what it comes down to. You still have retail presence with digital code. And the answer is yes, you can. So people know the store, they can buy this for holidays. This is going to be the biggest release, the biggest seller over the holidays. I don't think the box is going to destroy any of that. It's also $8 starting. And there's stuff we'll get into tomorrow in Newswave. The game relates to me looking at it, everything content-wise, $800, right? Like having out $80 in the box, and it's very unfortunate just because I think it's an awesome midnight release. We don't get many of these things come around very often, and then just talking around for oh, this might be handed. And this is basically the whole war of the whole thing. Primarily a digital versus fire games. There are some storefront right now, online retailers who are pushing back on this. So, for example, EGT or Video Game Plus says as gaming retailers recognize that Xbox 6 will be one of the biggest entertainment launches in history. And we understand why so many customers are eagerly anticipating its arrival based on the information currently available. Physically, Xbox 6 One, PS5, Xbox Series X, in the box. As a result, EGT will not be offering it for sale under our current company policy. We also have loot box gaming instead. We're closely following GTA 6 physical
release situation over the next 24 hours. We've yet to receive full details on our end, assuming information about the box is true. We will not be supporting the release of GTA 6. It is interesting for retailers to take a stance. And this isn't like Walmart, Best Buy, Target, GameStop, anything like that. These retailers will move some number of copies. For something like this, where there is no disc, it's just a code in the box, it gets very deflating for retail, but I mean, you're still just selling a sealed plastic box. It has instead of disc, it has code. So I mean, I guess when they use copies, when trade-ins on that side, I think I will say back when the old days now, when we run previous stores, it was really annoying seeing digital pickup because we knew it was really maritime. More completely over physical, and the most retail, smaller mom-and-pop retail stores trying to compete on the front lines of brand games. At that time, guess what? Xbox One, there is no number, right? So we see something like this, there is no trade-in potential. Yeah, like 0.7 on this. How's it last 0.7 selling like Xbox Series S, and there isn't, so we probably won't install digital systems. But I think it's interesting to retailers are going, you know what, that's a bridge too far. We were hoping to see like an actual physical release, so we're not really going to go for this one. That mentions that to further accelerate the digital era. It's already cut here, and I look at Nintendo, and they're doing cheaper digital games versus physical. We see this where I still think the biggest releasing in history, at least at launch in November, is going to be fully digital. Yes, you say they bought the box of retail, it's still getting added to their digital library. There's no user second market for this game. Because people can use the idea of just buying digitally and having a digital library. So this might be out there now with all the physical games. I think almost every like shop if we really had an option for a physical drive, the PlayStation 6 and the next like I feel like Nintendo should start exploring a digital only switch system, mostly because then they can subsidize it further, knowing that you're only buying from the digital storefront and would have no option to go to retail for even those key cards. But no check that's download in the country by $6 $8 to pay. But come to the box. No, don't forget to that allow it to provide more than the pricing thing. But no check download context watching
Still looks sloppy. Looks just generic. There's so much makeup on the video. It doesn't feel right. It's way too much in the face. The less details there is to work with, the more, the better can fool people, but still. No. Generic as fuck. Let me refresh and watch out for the spoilers, because yeah, the spoiler situation's a bit good to it. But I just trying to manage it all on time. If I just play the game now, I keep playing the game, not only be exhausted from just playing the game non-stop. Because the game is just not very, it just doesn't hook me up so much. Well, play out of fear to get spoiled is just not the way to go about it. So yeah, you gotta give a little time. The first hour of the game is just dialogue, so yeah, get it tough. Let's see. I'm not watching this again. Yup. Yup. So. And nothing. I didn't add anything. How funny. So yeah, I'm gonna go for here then. the random pin is so close. It's so close. Every time I refresh the website, it's just very close. But no, it's not any close. I mean, it's just when it's close, it's just kind of funny. No, it's in London. Yeah. It's about the time I should refresh. Yeah, whatever. The cheapest ticket, $60. Holy shit, it bugged out. Yeah, it bugged out. There isn't much to say here. Yeah, I reached the cutoff point. That was too quick. Bro. Well, that's disappointing. Oh. Okay. So there's... Okay, let me see if I missed anything. No, I don't think I did. I listened to this one. I updated something. Oh, yeah, everything else is useful. Whoop. Whoop. There it is, I knew it. Just a couple seconds ago. Exactly a minute ago.
There's like a Mario dating game or something. Surely there isn't a Mario game for every genre. There isn't like a Mario dating game or something. Fuck. All right, so let's get that genre out of the way. Dating game. Super Paper Mario features a dating game portion, mini game, whatever you want to call it. So that's off the list. Okay, well, I'm on the Wikipedia page for list of video game genres. So surely there isn't a Mario Christian game. That's how it feels sometimes, don't it? There's hundreds, if not thousands of Mario games out there, and there's been a Mario game for nearly every single genre. Now, that's definitely not true, but I just want to see how many genres Mario checks the box of. So what I got here is a tab open of the Wikipedia article for list of video game genres, and I also have the...
Oh no, I'm not. I am on VPN. God damn it, are you kidding me? 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 Even the VPN is gonna...
Super Mario Wiki, the best wiki of all time. I don't think US history is as well documented as Mario history is on the...
Yeah, I might have to log in. Hold on. Okay, not only I logged in, but also disabled the VPN, so I don't know. Well, let's see how that will go. I should have restarted the thing, but whatever. Let me restart it. Restart it, open... Probably should have cleaned the cache as well. I don't know. That's how we do here. The last video probably, goddamn, it had to crash. No wonder why I cannot just accumulate a bunch of videos for later. Yeah, was thinking about doing that because of Delta Rune, but yeah, that's why I can't as well. You just crash after crash for watching too much. Yeah, watching too much. Okay, maybe if I connect it. You know what the fuck I'm gonna watch from here? It's gonna be slower. But yeah. It is always guaranteed to work, as of now at least.
Surely there isn't a Mario game for every genre. There isn't like a Mario dating game or something. Fuck. the Wikipedia article for list of video game genres, and I also have the Super Mario Wiki, the best wiki of all time. I don't think US history is as well documented as Mario history is on the Mario Wiki. Pretty much, I would just like to go through as many different genres on this Wikipedia article as I could, see how many video game genres Mario truly hasn't been a part of yet. Now, keep in mind, I'm probably going to include all of the different sub-series of Mario in the running here. Pretty much any game that's included on the Mario Wiki's list of games page. So it's going to include Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, Wario games, Donkey Kong games. I might even find a bunch of stretches there. You know, games where like Mario just appears as like a cameo or something. I don't know. So first up on the list of video game genres is action, and right under action is platformers. Huh. Let me go to this list of games page.
It looks like you put it in 1080p just fine. We could even risk
yeah,
4K.
Mario Brothers. We found our Mario platformer, ladies and gentlemen. But what about shooters?
Won't make a single difference, but whatever. At least in the footage, it won't make a difference.
Features first-person shooters, third-person shooters, hero shooters, light gun shooters, and shoot-'em-ups. First-person shooters, there is actually one game we can classify as that. It's Yoshi Safari on the Super Nintendo. It used the Super Nintendo Super Scope. It was a rail shooter in the Mario universe. You were actually first-person Mario, POV, you're Mario. The Mario Wiki actually brings up a good point. There's actually Luigi's Mansion Arcade as well. That's actually played in the first person. It's also a rail shooter, so I guess. Now, in terms of a third-person shooter, I'm not really sure any Mario game really falls under that classification. Well, Mario itself, I don't really think has anything you could classify as a third-person shooter. I mean, to be fair, you could possibly say something like Mario Sunshine has third-person shooting elements with the flood pack. You know, like, oh, it's in the third person, and you shoot water. Wow, that's a third-person shooter if I've ever seen one. But in terms of making a ton of stretches here, in the Splatoon franchise, there's some Mario references. There was like an 8-bit blooper hidden in one of the levels. And also they had a Splatfest that was Mario themed. That was about the mushroom versus the superstar. And by proxy, Inklings and Splatoon content have appeared in the Mario universe with stuff in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with the Inklings appearing as playable characters and also Urgent Underpass appearing as a battle track. So damn it, Splatoon stuff appears in Mario, Mario stuff appears in Splatoon. You might as well call it a Mario game. All right, now, hero shooters. I would say the closest thing we really got to that is the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle versus mode. So let's hear the definition of hero shooter on this article. Hero shooters emphasize pre-designed hero characters with each possessing distinctive abilities and or weapons that are specific to them. If we look at the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle versus mode, well, damn, that explains what that is. Okay, obviously I'm pulling that straight out of my ass, but I mean, I can come up with a Mario hero shooter outside of that. Technically speaking, they use guns in Mario and Rabbids. They all have unique abilities, and this is where you go on a battlefield and you fight each other. It does not function like a first-person or third-person shooter. It functions like a tactics role-playing game, because that's what Mario and Rabbids is. It's not a hero shooter, but damn it, it does fit the definition here. Next up, light gun shooters. Now, on the Wikipedia article, it already mentions Duck Hunt, and Duck Hunt was included in the Mario combo pack for the NES, so I mean, I could say that as an option. However, in the Nintendo Museum in Japan, they have a light gun shooting Mario game that you can play. And even then, outside of that, Yoshi Safari is already a light gun game. So, you know, I mean, Yoshi Safari is just pulling a lot of heavy weight early on. That's wild. Shoot 'em ups. Now, I think the only Mario game that is actually a shoot 'em up, we would have to bring things over to Donkey Kong, because Donkey Kong 3 is a shoot 'em up. It's a weird shoot 'em up where the shoot is bug spray. M is Donkey Kong's ass. And yes, you are going up, so yes, it is a shoot 'em up. But all right, I was able to pull examples out of my ass for pretty much every single thing under the shooter genre. And you know what? That was the scariest genre for me to try to work on. So I think we're smooth sailing here on out. Fighting game. Now, obviously, Super Smash Brothers. That's an easy one. And for some reason, you didn't count Super Smash Brothers. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you also had Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on the Wii U. That's filled with Mario crap. There's Mario modes in that game. Pretty much every character has like a Mario or Nintendo themed costume. So boom, we're good. Ah, shit. Is there a Mario beat 'em up out there? I gotta do some research. Here's a weird thing. Honestly, the thing that comes to my mind first is Princess Peach Showtime, even though that isn't a beat 'em up. But the way the camera works in that game, it honestly feels like a beat 'em up at times. Okay, thinking about it for a bit, I do feel like you could argue the adventure mode in Smash Brothers Brawl, the Subspace Emissary, that could be considered a beat 'em up. I mean, for the most part, that is kind of just like move forward, beat up a bunch of enemies. Yeah, I mean that's a beat 'em up. Okay, I don't feel great about that answer, but that's all I got right now. Stealth games. Well, you can argue that a lot of Mario games have stealth elements. Think about the sleeping piranha plant in Mario 64. You have to tiptoe around him and not wake him up. Think about in Mario 3D World, where you put on the Goomba mask to evade the Goombas. That's my answer for stealth Mario games. Live with it. Survival game. Okay. Well, I gotta look at the survival game Wikipedia page. The basic concept of survival can be found in sports video games as early as Pong. Pong's a survival game. Okay, well, at that point, we can say Alleyway on the Game Boy. That's just like Breakout. And what? Yeah, you're trying to survive in that game. You're trying to survive in Mario Brothers 1. All right, here we go. List of survival games. What do we have here? Okay, obviously, like a survival game is where you're trying to conserve your resources, collect a bunch of them, and just, you know, survive. In terms of Mario games that can be classified as that, well, Minecraft is a survival game, and guess what Minecraft has? Mario. On the list of games page on the Mario Wiki, Minecraft appears 7 times. I find that so interesting that Minecraft on the Mario Wiki is genuinely considered like, yep, this is a Mario release on the consoles. While games like Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on Wii U, that's nowhere to be found. I can't even find a page for this anywhere on the Mario Wiki in general. Yet that has Mario costumes all over the place. You have Mario costumes in Rayman Legends. Rayman doesn't appear on the list of games list, but Minecraft is. So, according to Mario Wiki, Minecraft is a Mario game. Suck it up, I found a survival game in the Mario series. How about a rhythm game? Easy! Read it and weep, bitch! Here's the thing. In my opinion, Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix is like a pretty lame option to give here, mainly because for a series as big as Mario, I think I would have expected more rhythm games from it. I mean, you have such a wide variety of iconic tracks in the Mario games. However, Mario's appeared in a lot of rhythm games, and there's been a lot of rhythm game elements in the Mario series. My immediate thing is in Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix on the 3DS, there's actually a whole section dedicated to Wario, which is kind of interesting. There's also the Donkey Konga series, which is one of the closest things we really have to like a dedicated Mario rhythm game. I mean, there's a lot of Mario tracks in Donkey Konga. Then you also have the Taiko series. Taiko no Tatsujin has a very healthy history of the Nintendo console games in the series having, you know, Nintendo music available in them, and some of them have Mario tracks in there. Then in Super Mario Party, Mario Party Jamboree, they have a whole mode dedicated to rhythm games. So there's a lot of rhythm games in the Mario series. I almost just feel like there should be more, almost like a dedicated side series for rhythm games. But I mean, there's been rhythm games in the Mario series. That's all we really care about right now. And Battle Royale games, ha, boom, done. Next up is action adventure. I think a lot of Mario games already qualify as action adventure games. I think if we go to Super Mario Odyssey on the Mario Wiki page, go down to genres, sorry, classified as an action adventure. We're done. But scrolling down, we now have survival horror. Damn it! All right, let me take a look at what the Wikipedia page for survival horror lists as examples here. Yeah, just looking around for about 10 seconds. We might be Okay, but what truly makes a survival horror game a survival horror game? Because what's scary can be subjective. And the easiest thing to point out is like, okay, Luigi's Mansion. I mean, I'm not scared by it, I swear, guys. But for the sake of this argument, I can find a lot of similarities between Luigi's Mansion and something like classic Resident Evil back on the PS1. Keep in mind, for the sake of this argument, Luigi's Mansion is like Resident Evil for babies. But, I mean, both take place in a big mansion, and you gotta find keys to open more doors. You solve puzzles, and your main enemy is this spooky apparition, whether it's zombies or ghosts. All right, now let's take a look at what survival horror is classified on Wikipedia. Survival horror is a subgenre of horror games. Now, what's a horror game? All right, I'm scrolling down. They consider Haunted House for the Atari 2600 to be an early horror game. If Haunted House on the Atari 2600 can be considered a horror game, I feel like Luigi's Mansion might as well be. But okay, I feel like you could make the argument that Luigi's Mansion can be considered a horror game. I don't think that's the base genre of it. I mean, like, I think Luigi's Mansion is like 20 genres before you get to horror game. But I think you could still put horror game in the lineup of genres that Luigi's Mansion could be considered. The problem is, survival horror kind of means that your resources are limited and you feel very vulnerable. Continuing what they say here, although combat can be a part of the gameplay, the player is made to feel less in control than in typical action games through limited ammunition or weapons, health, speed, and vision, or through various obstructions of the player's interactions with the game mechanics. Yeah. I don't know if that's Luigi's Mansion. Okay, maybe we go back to survival horror, but for the time being, I think that's going to be a no. There's not a Mario game I could really come up with that is classified as a survival horror. Next up, we have Metroidvania, which is an interesting
A ver, sí, pero bien, come on, yo.
genre. Pretty much what a Metroidvania is meant to be is that you have access to this big map, but you can't access certain elements until you get upgrades or certain power-ups, and then you can access those areas. It's all about kind of traversing a big old maze and finding new abilities and using those abilities to progress throughout the game. Now, the strange thing about the Metroidvania name is that they just decided to call it that because it's just, I don't know, like fans started to use that term because Metroid started it, and then Castlevania adopted it with Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which, to be fair, it's just kind of strange because Metroidvania, I mean, for the most part, it can just be just a Metroid game. But I think the Vania element is like it introduces some RPG elements, like, you know, you upgrade your stats and everything. All right, now, I often think I sound a little stupid for saying this, but I would honestly consider Donkey Kong 64 to be a Metroidvania. Honestly, the game isn't really about platforming challenges as much as it's about getting new characters, unlocking new abilities for those characters, and using those abilities to progress throughout the world. There's so many parts of Donkey Kong 64 where you go somewhere on the map and you can't access it yet until you get a new character, and that character has this other ability unlocked. So the entire game is like going back and forth throughout this entire world. I'm not going to call it a downright Metroidvania, but I'm also going to do it. Donkey Kong 64 is my candidate for a Mario Metroidvania. Oh, there's also Wario Land 3. Adventure games. Action-adventure games without anything going on, apparently. They're just adventure games. My immediate thought with adventure games is honestly a lot of the Paper Mario games, specifically Color Splash, Origami King, but combat's still a big part of those games, but combat just kind of feels like it's kind of its own thing in those games. A lot of the core part of that modern Paper Mario gameplay is the adventure aspect of the world, exploring the world and kind of solving some light puzzles and talking to the NPCs and all of that. And then you just have this like tacked on turn-based combat that's in there, so I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, you could maybe call it an adventure game, but I do wonder what Wikipedia considers an adventure game, so let's kind of go here. They're going to be talking a lot about some point and click stuff like Monkey Island and King's Quest. Okay, a lot of what I'm seeing is considered an adventure game. It's usually something that doesn't really have a ton of combat involved. It's kind of just like you're there on an adventure, and it's more about the story and exploring puzzles, all of that. So that's why a lot of times these point and clicks are considered adventure games. To that I ask, how about Mario is Missing on the PC? How the f isn't this an adventure game? All right, so that's my pick for adventure game in the Mario series. Mario is Missing. Next up, we have text adventures. Okay, so this is gonna be a little tricky, but the list of Mario games on the Mario Wiki has a bunch of crap on here that was just like some Adobe Flash games Nintendo released back in the day. How about this? Read the unfinished Donkey Kong Country story and finish the adventure. Holy shit, this is a choose your own adventure Flash game about Donkey Kong. Apparently this was something done by Nick.com. I played a ton of Nick.com Flash games back in the day. I've never seen this one because this was a little before my time of using the internet. But I guess this was an advertisement featured in Nickelodeon magazine. So it's a create your own Donkey Kong Country comic strip. So I guess they have this comic strip on this ad, and then the Flash game online, you could just decide where it goes from there. Okay, so what's considered a text adventure? Now, technically speaking, because this is a choose your own adventure and there are comic strip frames included, this isn't a completely text-only adventure. There are some visuals. So at that point, I'm wondering, does this not count as a text adventure, but rather a visual novel? At least I think that's my pick for Mario visual novel. I'm doing this Donkey Kong Country Nick.com Flash game. I mean, these Adobe Flash games are easy fodder to fill out all these other genres. What about Waluigi's Footfall. Waluigi's Footfall, also known as Waluigi's Toenail Clipping Party, is a game that was playable on the official website for Mario Tennis on the N64. It is the only game where Waluigi is the main character. Okay, I might have found something that I would consider a text adventure. There's an Adobe Flash game called Ask Wario, where you literally type in whatever you want and Wario responds. And to me, a text adventure is something where you have to type in like inputs as to what you want to do. Like, oh, go left, go right, go forward, do this, do that. Ask Wario could be considered that. Yeah, fuck it, that's my answer to text adventures. Ask Wario. Graphic adventures. Would that already be considered what we already talked about here? Like Mario is Missing? I think we already got that covered. Interactive movie. This is definitely a little tricky. So an interactive movie to me would be something like Dragon's Lair back in the arcades. Of course, that's one of the earlier examples. If we go to the interactive movie Wikipedia page, we can see they kind of consider some modern things like Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, all that kind of stuff as interactive movies. Well, Mario Wiki lists a few DVD releases in the Mario series. Now, this isn't all DVDs released about Mario. I believe these are literally DVDs that contain games. So these might have the interactive movies we want to talk about here. There's a Super Mario Bros. Super Show DVD, Mario's Greatest Movie Moments, and why this is here is because there is a trivia game featured on this DVD. Now, the trivia game itself isn't like an interactive movie. However, it says here, being the trivia game allows the viewer to watch an exclusive episode on the DVD. The only way you can watch this episode of the Mario Super Show is by beating the trivia game. I don't really know if that makes that an interactive movie, so let's take a look at these weird Donkey Kong Country releases from France. It's definitely weird. This was a French release for the old Donkey Kong Country show from the 90s, but it's using like new Nintendo renders, or new at the time. And it does say here, a quiz for the show was also included. So maybe this one. Okay, it seems like all these Donkey Kong Country releases just have an interactive quiz. Oh, but what about the Super Guide in the new Super Mario Brothers games? In New Super Mario Brothers U, if you die enough times, it will let Luigi beat the stage for you, and it just has the computer control Luigi. But I mean, like, you could consider that a movie because you're watching it happen, and then you can say whenever you want, you can be like, actually, stop right there. I want to pick up the game now. So technically, that could be just like, oh, I'm kicking back, I'm watching a movie, but then I can interact with it whenever I want. Yeah, fuck. I don't know if any of this counts. I probably have to go deeper in this list of games list. But wait, I think I might have found something. I don't even know if this technically counts, but on the list of games page, there's all kinds of wacky arcade games with the Mario branding on them. And not just the ones that you may immediately think of, like Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, all of that. You know, there's all kinds of like random stuff that's like, oh, the Super Mario World popcorn roulette type arcade machine. I think these kind of things were big in Japan. It's kind of like a mix between an arcade machine and like a food maker, where this would give you popcorn. And it was like a little interactive too. I think there was like a Sonic thing that was just like this. But the thing with the Sonic popcorn machine is that it had a screen that showed like an interactive thing going on as your popcorn was being made. So maybe that could be considered an interactive movie. But I found this one, Mario World themed arcade machine thing called Terabi Denwa Super Mario World. So the way this thing works is that you interact with the screen with a telephone. You listen to what's being said with the telephone, and you press buttons on the keypad depending on what you want to happen here, and you see it all on the screen. I think this counts as an interactive movie. I don't know about you, but I think that's what this is. So boom, I think I found an interactive movie in the Mario franchise. Next up, real-time 3D adventures. What the hell is this? So it says examples of this would be Nightfall, Shenmue, Real Mist, Shadow of Memories, Yakuza. They augmented traditional adventure gameplay with some of the attributes more commonly associated with action games. For example, freedom of motion and physics-based behavior. So I ended up Googling this subgenre because I've never really heard of this as a subgenre in the adventure genre. And looking it up, I mean, like, there's not really a ton of examples of like this being an actual subgenre of adventure game. It seems like a very ultra-specific thing to mention on the Wikipedia article, but I'm not really sure if this is an actual subgenre. Like when I go to the images page, most of the results are a fucking Adventure Time game, buddy. But I mean, looking into it a little more, the fact that like, okay, we're talking about Nightfall here. I've never heard of Nightfall, but I know Shenmue. I played Shenmue. I understand Shenmue. And I think what they're kind of trying to get at here is like a real-time 3D adventure is an adventure game with a world that is in 3D and can change. I don't know. To be honest, I think this is such a specific subgenre. I might put this on the list of, I'm not really sure what Mario has done that would fall in that genre. So right now, I have two potential ones that I'm not really sure what to put. Survival horror and real-time 3D adventure. So maybe we'll go back to those. Maybe those are just goners. But for the time being, we have puzzle game. Dr. Mario, moving on. Breakout clone game. Alleyway, done. Logical game. Logical puzzle games exhibit logic and mechanisms that are consistent throughout the entire game. Solving them typically requires deductive reasoning skills. Unfortunately, they don't give any examples here, other than the fact that like this is kind of a subheader and this is a sub-subheader. So potentially it kind of feels like, okay, so logical game, and then these three are types of logical games. So I feel like any game I would come up with for logical game would be a game that would fall into one of these three camps either way. So we might as well talk about physics puzzle games in the Mario series. You know, physics-wise, it's a little tricky to kind of come up with. When I think of physics puzzle games by Nintendo, my immediate thought is the Fluidity games, but I'm definitely having a harder time kind of thinking of Mario games that kind of fall in the physics puzzle games genre. I mean, we have Mario Pinball Land. Pinball's about physics, but the examples they give for physics games here include something like Peggle, which honestly reminds me of in Nintendo Land, you have the coin game in there, and you know, that is a physics-based puzzle game. I'm also sure there's a Mario Party minigame that could get me out of this, but right now all I'm thinking is the coin game in Nintendo Land. This is my answer for physics puzzle game. I'm going with Nintendo Land. I mean, I'm not sure if Donkey Kong's Crash Course in Nintendo Land counts as a puzzle game, but it's definitely a game that's entirely based around physics. So I don't care. Nintendo Land is my physics puzzle game choice for Mario. Programming game. Programming game is a computer game where the player has limited or no direct influence on the course of the game. They have an example like The Incredible Machine, which is a game where you're pretty much making a Rube Goldberg type machine. So I guess the concept of a programming puzzle game is like, okay, you gotta make something to then get an outcome. You're not directly controlling anything. You gotta make something, get an outcome. So here's the thing. I can easily say something like the Mario Maker games because you know, you are creating levels in there, and you can create like games that would be like The Incredible Machine, even though like that's such a very specific example to give here. I'm sure not all programming puzzle games are like that. I think I'm gonna go with WarioWare DIY because you actually program in that game. So I don't know what else to go with for this one. WarioWare DIY is my pick. Puzzle platform game. I mean, hell, on the article itself, it already denotes Wario Land 2, which I think is kind of a strange pick for an example for a puzzle platformer. But it's like I would have immediately gone like Donkey Kong 94, the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. I don't know. There's plenty of examples for puzzle platformers for Mario, so easy. Trial and error / exploration. This subgenre includes point-and-click games that often exhibit similarities with adventure games and walking simulators. Something like Myst, Limbo, The Dig, Monument Valley, The Room. Yeah, that might be a third one. I don't know what the fuck I'd pick for this one. And damn, hidden object game. Was there actually a Mario hidden object game? Well, I went to the list of games and bada bing, bada boom. Nintendo Friends Object Hunt. All right, what the hell is this? Oh, freaking hot dog. You get the Super Mario 3D World, Yoshi's New Island, Captain Toad puzzle. You gotta find all this crap. I mean, hell, none of this is really well hidden at all, but still, it counts. Boom, Nintendo Friends Object Hunt. We got ourselves a hidden object game. Revealed picture game. This is probably gonna be like a slider puzzle kind of thing, and I think we can find something exactly like this right underneath the Nintendo Friends Object Hunt on the HTML games section of the Mario Wiki list of games. Peach's puzzle. Player must complete a puzzle depicting a piece of artwork of one or two Super Mario characters in the fastest time possible. I think we found it. Tile matching game. In tile matching video games, the player must manipulate tiles in order to make them disappear according to a matching criterion. So this is casting a very broad net here. I mean, they're already mentioning Tetris here, but then they're also mentioning something like Candy Crush or Bejeweled. But to be fair, you could already consider Tetris to be a Mario game with stuff like Tetris DS. The original Tetris on Game Boy and NES had Mario cameos in those games. But even then, if you don't want to count Tetris, you could do Dr. Mario or something. Who cares? Either way, Mario has had plenty of those. And even then, stuff like Candy Crush and Bejeweled. I mean, easily, we have Puzzle and Dragon Super Mario Brothers Edition. Easy. Boom. Traditional puzzle game is next. What does this mean? So this is pretty much talking about puzzle games that aren't inherently associated with video games. So something like word puzzles, number puzzles. I mean, I could pick plenty of games. I could go easily in the web section of the list of games to just find some fucking crossword. Oh, easily. The Wario No Crossword puzzle from 2003, released only in Japan. There you go. That's my pick for traditional puzzle game. Moving on. Role-playing game. All right, this should be pretty simple. Action RPG. I think Super Paper Mario would be considered that. Game still has RPG elements, but no turn-based battles. It's all just kind of meant to play out like a 2D side-scrolling Mario game, but with RPG elements, which would make that an action RPG. Done. Computer role-playing games are a style of RPG meant to mimic the gameplay of tabletop role-playing games. Ah, crap. Yeah, I got nothing. That might be added to the list. MMORPG. Is there any Mario game that we could finagle into the concept that like, oh, this is an MMO? I'm going to search for the word online in the Mario Wiki. Yeah, we got Dr. Mario Online RX. That's the only major Mario game that I could think of that had online in the name. But yeah, it wasn't like an MMO. It's Dr. Mario with an online multiplayer mode. That's all that was.
35.
Well, you did have the Mario Tennis Aces online tournament demo. That was
No. Yeah, this genre list is adding up. I got nothing for this one. Roguelike. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head would be the Emerald Rush DLC in Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is, you know, pretty much like a roguelike, so that's my pick for that one. Tactical RPG, Mario plus Rabbids, we're coming back! A sandbox RPG. Also known as an open world role-playing game subgenre. So an open world game with RPG elements, pretty much. And when I think sandbox RPG, I'm thinking like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, that kind of stuff. Yeah, what does Mario do that's similar to that? For sandbox games, I mean, here's the thing. Again, you could make the argument for something like Donkey Kong Bonanza because that is a sandbox environment. It's genuinely a sandbox. It may not be like an open world. It's a sandbox. You can explore around and completely warp the terrain and all of that. But then you also do have RPG elements with the skill tree. That'll be what I say for this. It's not that I really think, oh wow, this is a sandbox RPG, but it's like, I mean, it fits the criteria. First-person party-based RPG. What the f***? Okay, hear me out on this. Puzzle and Dragons Super Mario Brothers Edition. Not that I genuinely think this is a dungeon crawler because it says right there, like, see also dungeon crawl. That game technically does take place in the first person. On the top screen of the 3DS, it's in first person. As you walk towards enemies, you defeat the enemies, and then you keep moving forward. The only thing is, the way you defeat those enemies is by playing the fucking Candy Crush game on the bottom screen. Not that I truly believe this, but that'll be my pick for that one too. Monster taming, so pretty much Pokemon. Okay, this one also might be a wash. However, let's think a little more outside the box with this one too. A variant of the RPG formula where the player recruits monsters to fight for or alongside them. Okay, so all we gotta do is recruit a monster to fight alongside us. In Mario Sports Superstars, you must tame and be cool with your horse in the horse racing mode. And however you want to look at it, horses are big motherfuckers. That's probably the closest thing to monsters we have on this earth. I'll say Mario Sports Superstars for monster taming. Simulation, construction and management simulation. They already say SimCity here, so my pick is gonna be SimCity on Super Nintendo because Bowser appears in that game. Life simulation, so you know, something like The Sims, Animal Crossing. They mentioned virtual pets here, and we have another HTML game called Yoshi the Web Pet. Look at that. The genre is simulation, and it says Yoshi the Web Pet is a virtual pet game. Easy. Judging by the fact that there's like 5 animations here, really shitty GIFs. I'm not sure how intensive it was, but damn, we have ourselves a life sim game. I could have maybe stretched things and called like Nintendogs a Mario game because I believe you can get like a Mario hat in that game. Or you can make the argument for like Animal Crossing since there's a ton of like Mario stuff you can collect there. Vehicle simulation games. It's supposed to give you a realistic interpretation of operating various kinds of vehicles. Now here they talk about organized racing simulators attempt to reproduce the experience of driving or racing a car or motorcycle in an existing racing class. And then they say imaginary racing games involve imaginary situations driving madly through cities or the countryside. These imaginary racing games are sometimes called arcade racing games in contrast to their more realistic racing simulation counterparts. They mention Crash Team Racing there. If you're gonna mention Crash Team Racing, you should mention Mario Kart. But at the same time, they're kind of saying here that like, okay, these don't belong as simulation games. However, it then says Rollins and Adams note that racing games are often sold in the sports category, but from a design standpoint, they really belong in vehicle simulations. So what, am I gonna fucking put Mario Kart here? And to be fair, there is a first-person mode in Mario Kart 7, and that simulates something. I don't give a fuck Mario this deep. Mario Kart 7 is my vehicle simulation pick. Strategy games, all right. What the f is a 4X game? 4X refers to a genre of strategy video games with 4 primary goals: explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. Listen, I really enjoy Civilization. Apparently that's an example of a 4X game. I've never heard of the 4X genre. Yeah, just scrolling the 4X Wikipedia article, I don't think Mario is mentioned once here, and I don't think Yoshi the Web Pet counts as a 4X game. All right, fellas, just taking a look at the other subgenres in the strategy list. I think I'm f***ed. I mean, thankfully in other categories, I mean, sports, racing, we can do just regular ass Mario Kart. Sports game, I mean, f*** it. NES Open Tournament Golf. Casino game, I mean, now we got Super Mario 64 DS. And gacha game, we have Mario Kart Tour. There's plenty of other examples that we can definitely stretch with this kind of stuff. But overall, I've been going long enough, and there's definitely more than enough genres that I don't think we've ever seen a Mario game in, and I don't think we're ever going to see a Mario game in. But to be honest, it is genuinely really impressive that I was able to at least find some kind of example for a lot of the games that we've seen so far, even if some of them were definite stretches. But it just goes to show how many Mario games there truly are. You can make an argument for a lot of these genres, like one I didn't get to. Serious game. Serious games are intended to educate or train the player. My pick is Mario Kills Tanuki by PETA.
Yeah, that's all covered in 2 hours. Might as well check those links up right now. 27. GT6, 3 just embarrassing battles I built. Strongest. They must. Google Pokemon. Okay. Working Steam. Let me know some more about AI. Press. Okay, this one. Why? I don't know. Yup. Nothing more, right? Nothing more, nothing less.